Teeth and the curse of sound, all in my mouth. Only I don't know how. They got out of here, eternally back into the I wasn't there. I was happy today, it's still my return. And if you turn, I really like what it takes to be there. I jump from the trees and I dance like a king in the ice of the all I do. Music playing when you notice the stride. You're getting it right. Hope it's right when you die. Oh, and oh, no breaks like a boat through the heart. Pushing it home, but the head's to the wall and lonely. If you turn, tell me go smile, trees, sky, dance, and keep the eyes so that's all I see how the biggest star. They all could have done. Took me into the box, telling me I'm looking in on a good life. I'm saying you'll never find without a trust. Lady, you're just fine. To me, I'll dance like a queen in the eyes. So that's all I can
I wanted to be a barber anyway. I wanted to be a lumberjack. Leaping from tree to tree as they float down the mighty rivers of British Columbia. The giant redwood, the larch, the fir, the mighty Scots pine, the small fresh-cut timber, the crash of mighty trees. With my best girlie by my side, we sing, sing. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay. I sleep all night, I work all day. I cut down trees, I eat my lunch, I go to the lavatory. Wednesdays I go shopping and have butterscotch for tea. I cut down trees, I skip and jump, I like to press wildflowers. I put on women's clothing and hang around in bars. I cut down trees, I wear high heels, suspenders and a bra. Being a girly, just like my dear mama. I cut down trees, high heels, suspenders and a bra. Just like my dear mama.
Yes, sir, I wish to complain in the strongest possible terms about the song which you have just broadcast about the lumberjack who wears women's clothes. Many of my best friends are lumberjacks, and only a few of them are transvestites. Yours faithfully, Brigadier Sir Charles Arthur Strong, Mrs. P.S. I have never kissed the editor of the Radio Times.
Well, I object to all this sex on the television. I mean, I keep falling off.
I actually have for China, because their basic dictatorship is allowing them to turn their economy around on a dime and say we need to go green as fast as we need to start, investing in solar. I mean, there is a flexibility that I know Stephen Harper must dream about of having a dictatorship that he could do everything he wanted.
Why do I make things complicated? Why do I lose all my control? I keep on letting my bad habits make us both come crashing to the floor.
Oh, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Oh. Board Boss is awesome, but we're just going to stop that. Okay, where is it? Come here. Merry Christmas! Hope everyone is doing fabulous. It's Cryptomeria. Hope everyone's well. Much love. Much love. Definitely much love this season. And I know the past few streams I've been posting the petition. It's closed. Happy birthday. Merry Christmas. Go fuck off, Justin Trudeau. Welcome. My name is Cryptomeria. Please like and subscribe. Everyone on X, Merry Christmas. Love you guys so much. Everyone on Twitch, it's good to see you all. And hi, YouTube. Sorry, it's been a long year. I love you, my evil like overlords. Just not in smile. So we got something very important going on, which I'm going to present the screen because Santa is going over. Santa's already in flight right now. Where is Santa right now, actually? Port Gentil, Gabon in 1 minute. So if you have those kids, better be in bed or Santa's gonna like fly right over them. So we're gonna draw up, yeah, NORAD Santa. Yeah, here we go. See? Santa is actually coming to your town. Maybe Krampus as well. It just depends how good or bad you've been. Oh, please, Jesus, can you send Krampus to Judo's house? It's all I want for Christmas. Happy birthday, dickhead. Sorry. On behalf of all Canadians, can you just please stay in Jamaica? You like surfing and pot. I don't see a problem. And so, yeah, this is actually, NORAD's tracking Santa. So I'm going to like keep this going because Santa actually doesn't get here for another 11 hours. I don't think I'll do his stream that long, but we'll see. Who knows? I've done longer streams. And I will actually throw up the invite, even though I'm going to probably go onto my blog. And I know it's good. X is getting close to comments. X is getting close to comments. I'm so excited. Then, I tried it on the Raging Dissident Jeremy McKenzie stream the other night, and it's still glitchy. They're getting there. At least they're starting to get comments. So, and okay, that's apparently not copying. No, don't do this. There we go. Sorry, sometimes if you swear at technology, it works all better. There we go. Okay, so I do have the invite for the panel coming up. And if you are on X, I hope it shows. I'm trying to like negotiate a few devices here. Just where the hell is he now? Because like Equatorial Guiana, nice. Malabo. There you go. So I'm not sure if there's going to be a delay between like all of where Santa's going. And I'm not going to do Santa the whole time just because, I'm busy. He's busy. He won't hit here until later. I just, I like wishing him well. Like I was 2 hours before his take off, and I couldn't stay up. I was so excited, but I couldn't stay up. So unfortunately, I went to bed, and I did sleep really well. I almost made it till liftoff, but we'll see if I make it till it comes. But Santa doesn't come unless you are asleep. That is the thing. So if I fall asleep early, that's okay. We'll try and keep them going until. And I hope everyone is having a wonderful holiday. If you're not familiar with me, My name's Cryptomeria. I am an artist out of Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, China, and whatever the hell we are these days. It's kind of getting complicated. Wow, this is good camouflage. I blend in with my Christmas tree. Bad jokes, bad jokes. I almost wore my lumberjack jacket tonight. I like this one. And this one. This one it is the perfect one. So if I'm out filming or playing, resources or Pokemon, and wandering here, there, and everywhere, I can have every cord and everything tucked away and all organized. So where is he now? Oh, why did you stop? No, Santa. Sorry, I need glasses to see that. That one there. Okay, where the hell is it? It was just loading. Oh, there's a Google Santa tracker. That should be interesting. Just to pull it up, like the difference between. I don't think this is the official NORAD run. I'm not sure about the Google one. This is something different. Sorry. I love how NORAD sets us up because, oh God, that's just the creepiest music. Nothing says the holidays like an elevator. So now they're saying he's at Alexandria, but NORAD is saying I'm going to trust NORAD on this, not Google. Okay, it's great that, okay, let me just show this. Okay, yeah, Santa is going through the Middle East right now. So all you good Christian kids, no, even if you aren't Christian, I think everyone just sort of, hey, let's have presents and food. There are so many different winter festivals and everything going on this time of year. So, and definitely, so yeah, Santa actually, sorry, according to Google, Santa just passed over Gaza and Israel. And hey, even if you aren't Christian, if you're Muslim or Hamas, I wish you a Merry Christmas because you wished us a Merry Christmas by all our tax dollar donations. Wasn't that great? I'm so proud of Trudeau because this is just bizarre. Okay, because apparently Google is going through Egypt right now. I'm going to keep tracking this tracker because this is weird. Okay, now he's going down the Nile. I think Google's just behind NORAD because apparently Santa's actually NORAD says Santa's in Nigeria right now. Let's just pull that up. I kind of trust NORAD over Google. Just, and they've been tracking Santa for a while because, when you got something flying over and you're like, okay, what the hell's this? Yeah, you gotta have tracking on Santa. Plus, these days with all the conflicts, they want to make sure that Santa goes through, all safe and he, they keep him updated. So, if there's, something going on, or, a little bit of, and the reindeer are pretty good about the snowstorms and everything, like, or even extreme heat. That's actually something people don't know about reindeer. They can actually handle the heat. So going through Nigeria, it's probably pretty warm right now, but you know, no worries, no worries. These reindeer got it, you know. I think also like Santa sort of like hitches up like zebras or antelopes or kangaroos. He mixes it up. This is the most fucked up. Okay, apparently also, yeah, see, Google is just behind NORAD. So NORAD isn't, yeah, like it's not like Google is inaccurate. It's just behind what NORAD is. Like they know Santa. They've been doing this for years. Just because, like, when we started getting radar, it was obviously a problem. Like, oh my God, is it the Russians? Is it aliens? It's like, well, no. Well, a little bit of both. Santa is kind of a Russian alien. Bad joke. Forgive me. I promise to leave a vodka and cookies. Like, I like how NORAD sets us up because let's see if I can use this way you can get information. Like it has all these links to wherever Santa's going over to the Wikipedia or another, so you can read up about the place. And I think that's cool because I think that means a lot to kids, especially from obviously places like Nigeria, where it's like you're equal with all the kids in the world. You're special. I just think it's wonderful. They make sure Santa's safe this time of year. And I'm gonna probably, how do I, yeah, I'm like, so that, yeah, I'm clicking on the wrong thing. Where's Santa? Where's Santa? Okay, we got him now. Nice. So now he's going over Lagos. Oh, I've always wanted to go there. I don't know why, but it's like, I think it's like by the ocean and seem warm. Oh my God, Google, you have the worst music. And yeah, so Santa's just like, oh God, that music is so bad. Holy crap, Google, that music is bad. I don't even think like NORAD Santa has sound. Does it have sound? It has movies. Oh, it's going through Nigeria. Yay. See, yeah, Google is actually just... Okay, I think Google Santa is just... Right now he's like stuck in Sudan. Oh my God, I think Santa's like being held hostage. Like... Oh, I love you too. Yeah, one of these days I'll show up there. Hunt you. Oh God, you. Yeah, take you to a nice dinner. Go to the pub, Chroma. I'm sure it would be. I'm sure it wouldn't be too weird being in Germany, like, because you're not in a big city. You're in urban places, but you're not in a big city. It's not like being in Berlin or something. Like, you know. So being on the outskirts, being a country girl, I could handle it. And you just have different bears and wolves. Like like island critters are all small. So well, I think I know like one of the just got a message. It made me smile. Like, what's your favorite Christmas movie? And I have to say, my favorite Christmas movie, it's besides Die Hard, and that is a Christmas movie. I don't care what you say, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Don't don't fight me on it. Like, is Trading Spaces, which I love. Like Jamie Lee Curtis, Dan Aykroyd, Eddie Murphy, like they just nailed it. They nailed that movie, you know. And I think it really like if any movie, rings truer nowadays as like a Scrooge model, it's that one. Oh, although Scrooge is pretty good. I love the ghost of Christmas present growing up. Well, sometimes like I get to like my parents had a VCR, so I they would tape a little bit of Saturday Night Live. So, but it was a pretty adult show back then. Now it's just like, what is going on with you guys? So I don't even know if I want to like pull up my blog right away. I'm just like fascinated watching Santa. Apparently he's going over the desert. There's still presents being delivered. So if you're in a nomadic tribe, don't worry. Santa's getting to you. And sometimes you'll notice on the NORAD Santa tracker, it'll gap out. Like there'll be little spots where you don't really see anything. It's a little blurry in that spot, pixelated, whatever. See, I think he switched to antelope right here, just because they're easier to get through, the desert. Maybe he switched to camels. I think maybe like Santa, I think like I said, he switches up. He has kangaroos, so for Australia, so he's got to have like other ones, and I think they already got their presents. So this is just like I do like doing this. I've done this for probably a decade now. Well, I watched it as a little kid. I love seeing the reports on CBC, even though CBC sucks right now, but I love seeing it. You know, seeing like our military in the radar stations with like, and it was like in the 1980s, it was that green screen and you'd like see it and they'd have like, Santa's coming. Well, you better get in bed. Don't worry, just have a little more punch and you'll sleep right out. I think Christmas is hard for kids. Like, there's so much excitement built around the holiday, and this year it's just been a little disturbing. Like having protesters. Oh God. Actually, I found something I'm probably gonna pull up. Let's just pause this. Because nothing says the holidays like camping and spending time with others. Or just carbon tax. The gifts that keeps on giving and giving and giving to Canadians. I think.
But we stay focused on investing in housing for Canadians, on stepping up, on more competition to helping grocery prices.
Santa, can you send
moving
this
forward,
man
creating
some
great
coal
jobs
for his
and careers
birthday?
for Canadians for decades to
No
come.
wonder he's like all fucked up.
Welcome
He thinks
to
he's
Moose on Loose. My
Jesus
name's
or
David. Today
something.
we're going to be going and taking a look out in the
Jesus
woods
wasn't
here
born in
at some
December,
homeless
hun.
encampments. Now, I live in Port Alberni in British Columbia, Canada.
Yay,
It's on
Port
Vancouver
Alberni!
Island. We're going to have a population of 17.
I'm gonna like go back on this one. I'm gonna go back on this one, just so I can pull it up right. You know, it's so rare I see people from the island that I'm not fighting with. no, I only mean that against Timber, but he's fine. I wish him a Merry Christmas and can go fuck himself. I'm sorry. In the true holiday season. Just, oh God. Yeah, this is going to be a fun stream. I can already tell. Sorry, I'm just all wound up. The drink I got like one of those like tall iced tea cans, and it was just so much sugar. I'm just like hee hee hee. Like I'm probably worse than your kids right now, hovering around the tree shaking the presents.
But we stay focused on investing in housing for Canadians, on stepping up, on more competition to helping grocery prices, and moving forward and creating great jobs and careers for Canadians for decades to come.
Welcome
So
to
this
Moose
is
on Loose. My
Moose
name's
on the
David.
Loose.
Today we're going to be going and taking a look out in the woods here at some homeless encampments. Now, I live in Port Alberni in British Columbia,
This
Canada.
is Port
That's on
Alberni.
Vancouver Island. We're going to have a population of 17,000 people.
Yeah.
Yet there's still, I know at least 4 homeless encampments in town. We're going to
This
go down
is
there. We're going to try to meet the
disturbing.
people, see what's going on, and what their
Hopefully my dad
circumstances were,
isn't
what
in
pushed them
one.
out onto the
That'd be
streets. We all
even
know
more
it's Justin
disturbing.
Trudeau bumping up the immigration way too high.
I'm
We
sure
don't
he's
have houses for
okay.
people. The people who
I just
are
hope
at
his
the lowest income are the most
his
vulnerable. They get
new-
pushed out, sleeping in
new
their vans,
wife
sleeping in
is
their cars,
kicking the
or
shit
sleeping
out
in
of him.
tents out in the
That's
woods.
all I
Now, I
want
live
for
in
Christmas.
the most temperate, the best climate to live in Canada, and yet it's brutal for people out here sleeping in the woods. So let's go take a look. And briefly, I do want to say this is not in any way to shame the people. I want to give a voice to the people who are out here sleeping in
It's
the cold.
not
It
to
bothers
shame
me
him,
so
but at
much
the same
that our
time,
Prime Minister has
like,
done this to us. He can
you,
fix it, and he
if
just doesn't. He doesn't care about
let me
Canadians.
just pause this.
The Conservative leader
Let me
focusing
just
on
pause
his
this
online popularity, but
before he goes in there. Let me say this. Do not just do this as a YouTuber. He knows his community. I know my community, or I have escorts, or, do not just go out and start filming this because you want views. It is dangerous. And we aren't doing this for views. We are doing this as like a cry for help, that our government listens, because our communities shouldn't look like this. And unfortunately, they do look like this. And trigger warning going forward, if you are easily triggered. Oh my God, I smudged my makeup. Yeah. There we go. Now I'm pretty. Yay. Yeah. Trigger warning going forward. There is going to be a lot of uncomfortable things. And I didn't watch this beforehand. I usually try and watch all the clips I pull up. to the most part. Sometimes I get surprised, and so today is a surprise, but this is Up Island in a tiny community, like under 20,000 people. And meanwhile, there are tent cities, and I don't know what he's going to show. You know, hopefully, like, I wouldn't feel comfortable filming some of the tent cities up here without an escort and also a guide. Yeah, it is like going into a war zone or a third world country, and you need a guide. Like someone who understands what's going on the streets where you're filming. Like, I cannot stress enough, please, and I cannot stress enough that this is like this. It's not to shame people. It is actually because we are concerned about our communities. We feel like we are getting failed by our government. And there is no safe supply. I don't know what the fuck the federal government was thinking, like, oh, well, BC gets all the drugs they want. Like, or certain parts get, it's just ridiculous. There is treatment, and I am going to pull up Michelle Ferrer. She had a brilliant post about addiction today. She nails it, but I'm going to let Moose on the Loose play this one out but I just wanted to stress so much, do not do this. Because so many people are dumb these days and they will do anything for views, and this is not safe. It is literally like going into a war zone. And there's so many beautiful things to film. You don't need to go out that route for views. When a lot of us do this, it is just because it's our protest. We're fed up. What do you even do when you watch your neighborhood disintegrate? So I'm gonna pull this one up. And yeah, happy birthday, Trudeau.
But meanwhile, we will be making sure that everyone has a roof over their heads.
Well, Mr. Speaker, people do not have roofs over their head. After 8 years of this Prime Minister, housing costs have doubled.
So right away, you can see right off the street here, there's a trail that goes down. We've got cardboard boxes right there. We've got some here. So there's already signs that people were...
There's already signs.
I've actually filmed a lot of videos out here, just kind of standing on the trail near the forest and stuff.
And this didn't used to look like this.
It's just didn't used to look like this.
It used to be so
and this trail
pristine.
It's like I'm wearing my trail shoes because it's steep.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it shows on camera, but this is quite steep.
It's really steep.
Just imagine having to haul down groceries, or if you go to the food, most likely people go to the food bank and then having to haul that food
down. They
haul
down water
just to get to a tent and freeze all night.
Yeah.
So we're down here now. So I know some people stay over there. And there's a encampment over here. So I don't know if there's people down here right now.
This is freaking
I'm just going to be really respectful to these people because I feel for them.
I
just really want to give these people a voice because our government is just running these people into the ground.
Oh my god. Yeah, and it is Port Alberni. Well, I mean, it's actually not bad for Port Alberni. Port Alberni is bad, but bad jokes, but...
It's just wild.
No. This
breaks my heart.
It takes a lot to make it a night out in these conditions. Because you are constantly wet. It's a rainforest. You are constantly wet.
They spend so much time. See, look at the tile on the ground. They've set rocks out here and made a patio. There's 2 patios here. I come down here every once in a while to check. Yeah, there's new stuff here. So somebody was just here. The last time I was here, there was like a little kid's like stroller thing here that's not here anymore.
Sometimes people will use them, just for groceries or stuff. Like,
yeah, there's like a first aid kit here.
Yeah.
Like there's legitimate steps built into the ground. There's like seating.
It's actually pretty clean for a homeless encampment.
Welcome to Canada.
But this is like people are squatting in the bush now. Merry Christmas!
This looks like a. I don't want to touch anything.
Don't touch anything.
There's some sort of electronic thing here. Coffee grinder or something. We need a stove. There's a first aid kit. Some rope. Some reflective thing. Looks like a bit of a coffee maker. Some bag down here. There's someone's underpants.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see there's easy access to the water over here.
Oh my god, they were probably in like showering and stuff, and they're like, shit. Now some guys like, I just, can he hand me my underwear?
I actually live just up here, not far. And
yeah.
I heard about this. One of my neighbors sent me a message when I was van lifing this summer. And I was out in Alberta, and this could have started a big forest fire and burnt the houses down.
Yeah.
Like, I understand people have to live out here, but it's just basically, the Trudeau government has pushed people to live out in these situations, which is now threatening to burn down houses.
And unless you are really skilled,
like 40 feet,
like me,
you
cannot live in the bush without a fire
hazard, and they're like a fall risk hazard.
Yeah, it is possible to live out in the rainforest without a fire,
this
but
is crazy, man.
You got to be really skilled. And obviously, this is.
You've got their essentially, I guess, is their kitchen. The fire that would make. There's big. This has got to be the bed. A big flat square thing. When I was out here before, maybe a month or two ago, there was 2 people down here, and before that, there was 2 or 3 people and a kid. So it just seems to kind of turn over. I don't know where the people go. I don't know where they move around or why.
Merry Christmas! Holy shit.
This forest down here is a running homeless camp for people because of Trudeau. Often you can see people are bringing down things they had in a house, like the stroller for the kid and things like that. They've obviously been pushed out of their home because of housing prices, and they just got no option now. It's just, our country is...
Yeah.
It's just brutal, man.
Or they got pushed off the band. Sorry, like, I had a friend who got kicked out of the band.
So just take a
so even if you're First Nations, if you get shunned by the tribe, you lose all your estate.
Just junk, and it's bad for the environment. You can see there's like plastic in the water down here and some down there. For such a pristine place, it's getting ruined.
Yeah.
And you can see there's a bunch of metal stuff over there. So I don't know what all this is. It's just a bunch of metal junk. I know some people's first reaction would be, it's like, it's junkies and stuff down here, but it's not. I've seen families with kids down here suffering. And
it's
for the most part, they don't want to talk to anyone.
More
I get
and
it.
more.
I don't try to push it.
If we do not change our government, we are going to face more of this. People are just going to get so desperate. They're going to...
you can't provide for your family enough that you can have a home for them. It just destroys your self-worth.
Yeah.
While the conservative leader focuses on clickbaits and views, we're focused on building homes for Canadians.
Canada has traditionally not been a country that, our income is just not like the States. They make so much more in America. Our houses and our food and everything's just so much more expensive. Now, I was road tripping down across America.
Our phone.
And I'm like a seasonal van lifer. And I go hike
paying
down.
$200 a month versus $20 a month.
6 years.
Maybe if Americans had to pay what we paid,
places. And so when I was in America,
there would be less idiots online. I don't know.
For a huge loaf, $1,200.
I pay a lot to be an idiot online.
For $1 or $2. So I was eating for like $3 a day down in America.
Yeah,
that's $1,200 a month. But around here, there's no way. Like, if you watch some of my other videos, I'm on the frugal diet right now at $300 a month. There's so much more opportunity. Everything's cheaper down there. But yet, America is getting worse and worse right now. But it's not like in Canada. This is Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have run the citizens right into the ground, and they're making it worse. They've increased immigration further, knowing full well they have someone doing the math there. They know that if you bring in 500,000 people, but you're only making 240,000 houses a year, like the the builders, not the government. You'll be at a deficit of 260,000 houses per year. It's not sustainable. It's going to push people on the streets. These shameful losers running our country, they need to be held accountable for their crimes against our people. Meanwhile, in the House of Commons, all they talk about is Ukraine and not Canadians. Disgraceful.
Refusing to stand with Ukraine, we will be there to stand with Ukraine. So the fact that they have not chosen to stand with Ukraine against Russia in this difficult time.
Things have really kind of blown up on this channel, and I didn't really understand why at first, but after talking to kind of multiple people and just getting a lay of the land, I realized that a lot of people are scared. They don't want to rock the boat. They're afraid of the government.
Yeah.
And no one wants to speak up. That's why there's not channels like this that are just calling it as is. We've got, all these people. Justin Trudeau, absolute loser. Chrystia Freeland, loser. Sean Fraser, loser. Jonathan Wilkinson, loser. Karina Gould, loser. These people are absolute losers running our country into the ground. The thing is, I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. I don't have a girlfriend. I don't hardly have that many friends around here. I was forced to move out to Vancouver Island after a divorce. I lost all my friends, family, sports teams. I lost it all. I had to move out here because of the cost of living. So I got nothing to lose. Come at me, bro. I will run my mouth. And if the government wants to show up and, Trudeau send his goons to get me, then they'll just prove that free speech is not free anymore.
Well, amen. I'm glad I found his clip. I'm glad I found that clip. Because a lot of us feel like that.
Sure. Lena Haba. I'm President Trump's attorney and spokesperson.
Oh, let's not get into Trump. Let's get into my blog. Yay. The artwork wasn't really, sorry, sort of smoking. It shouldn't be, but oh well. Yeah, some of the artwork I'm trying to work on a new video. I love the new slang one I did. I need to do a bit of work of it. I was trying to make it sound all scratchy like an old record, but it didn't really turn out. So there is my blog. Yay! And on my happy artwork for today, it's what I'm working on is the Carol of the Bells. But so I've gotten maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds out of a 3-minute song. It's just like, why do I do this to myself? But I will get it. I have other animation I could fill in and just be like cheap and lazy and be like, okay, well, I made this. I can just fill in the blanks. But I'm going to tomorrow, Orthodox Christmas is until January 6th anyways. That's sort of my day. I really like Christmas. So it doesn't matter. I think Orthodox Christmas is the most brilliant thing because you go through Boxing Day, you get all the sales, all the cheap food. Everything's half price after Christmas. And I love some of this animation that I'm doing with the Northern Lights. Hopefully I don't get a strike for this one.
Frosty the beer can was a jolly happy soul. He was freezing cold with frothy foam, 12 ounces of pure gold. Frosty the beer can is fairy tale, they say. He's made of hops, beach water, and rain, and he seems like one day. Must have been some magic in that clear one that I found. When I held them in my hand, I began to dance around. Oh, Frosty the beer can had some great ideas for me. Start up the town, go tip the band, and buy that girl a drink.
Oh, poppity chop chop, poppity chop chop, look at Frosty go. Poppity chop chop, poppity chop chop, searching for oh, Frosty, dear can knew that I worked hard all week. So we said, hey, bud, it's bottoms up. Why don't you go on back with me? On the dance floor with my wingman in my hand. With a real good buzz in my courage up, I asked that girl to dance. Big party on the hardwood beneath the neons on that wall. I only paused a moment when I heard them yell, let's go! Oh, poppity chop chop, poppity chop chop, look at Frosty go. Poppity chop chop, poppity chop chop, certified go. Oh, Frosty, the beer can had to hurry on his way. But he waited laughing on you cry. Back
Wait for the punchline. I don't know how many like funny holiday ones I pulled up. Like a lot of these clips I already had pulled up ahead in advance. You know, I kind of work on these like days in advance and the animations and everything. And it's even some morning. Oh, God. Okay, we do have one more. This one's awesome. Yeah. And anyone from Qualicum, ACDC. Yeah. Merry Christmas. How can you not love this? Like this is what the holidays are about. And this is brilliant editing. Brilliant. Deck the house with boughs of jolly. Around the Christmas tree, happy holiday. Brilliant. Day. Driving up. Pick up the phone. I'm always home. Each again. I'm gonna be your backdoor man. Please, How can you not? This yes, absolutely says the holiday. Sentimental feeling in the year. Happy jolly the house with boughs of holly, like around Christmas tree. Have a happy holiday. Rush and wave. Absolutely brilliant. I'm so glad I found that one. Like they did such brilliant editing with that to get the music. Like I am having such issues with my animation. I am like super jealous. They are wizards. Fine. I fail at Oddworks for my sound editing. Whatever. We all know that. At least you're trying. It's Hamas Day. Yeah, this is great. Doesn't something like this say the holidays?
Like jihad all through the land. There's Kafirs and hate the Jews. These people have nothing to do.
Happy Hanukkah!
They walk around all day.
Awkward.
It's beginning to look a lot like jihad all through the streets. There's nothing you'll be able to do. You'll get arrested and have to call a Jew unless they instill Sharia law.
I forgot this part of it. Oh god.
It's not Hamas the terrorist. It's America the terrorist. No, Israel is terrorist.
No, I think Hamas is terrorists. Just saying. No, it's.
Merry Christmas from the Ben Vegas team. Have a happy, healthy, and safe holiday season.
Where's Santa? Okay. Well, apparently, yeah. Okay, let's track where Santa is. I want. Oh my God! Santa is going to Vienna, Austria. Yay! I'm so excited. Because Google is still in Africa. I don't know. Like, I think Santa got kidnapped on Google. Like, I don't know, because theirs is so far behind of NORAD. I'm like, I'll trust the NORAD. I think Santa's in Vienna. Like, I think Santa's going up that way now. He kind of goes like zigzags across. I've watched this for like probably a decade, and I, take flight notes from Santa, how Santa's gonna go. Yeah, that was just disturbing. I love some of this artwork. Oh, another one. Oh God. Hey, in for a penny, in for a pound. If we're gonna go for the bad holiday classics, let's go hard. Once again, brilliant editing. Like, I wish I had these editing skills. I have no patience for it.
I don't care about the presents.
I try my best.
Just want to boldly go. More than you could ever know. All I want for Christmas is
Cute. If you are a Trekkie, you are gonna love this one. It's brilliant.
Captain Log. It's almost Christmas, and there is just one thing I need. I don't care about presents underneath the Christmas tree. I don't want to hang my stocking there above the fire.
place. Number one won't make me happy with the talk on Christmas Day. I just want to make it so more than you could ever make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is cute baby. I don't want a lot for Christmas. There is just one thing. As an expert in humanity, here is where I want to be. I don't want to box with Cisco or on Deep Space Nine. I won't even rescue the Janeway. Voyager will be just fine. Just
Brilliant.
make my wish come true. All I want for Christmas is don't lose. Still for that which long and necessity needs. I do not love thee with my eyes, for they see. I will see the taste my heart.
Oh my god, my Kool-Aid is almost coming out my nose.
Lord, supplement.
Freaking too much.
I don't care about presents. Christmas tree. I just want to make it so. More than you could remember. Make my wish come true.
Oh my god.
For Christmas.
It's cute.
All I want for Christmas is I protest. I am not a merry man. Want for Christmas. All I want for Christmas is you. Until next time.
Thank you. That is almost like as good as the Star Wars Christmas special, which is actually the last time I checked on YouTube, it was free. So we might do that later. We might do the Star Wars Christmas special later. If I might I might have to shut down the YouTube and I might get a spanking on Twitch, but X won't care. Like, because it is a holiday classic and it's so fucking weird. You got like half an hour of Wookiees just standing around, and then it's like, and Mark Hamill looks so damn young. It's like yummy. Like, oh, bad Crypta. Bad Crypta.
Welcome to tonight's special report, where it's our dream.
I think everyone knows. Awake with JP.
Tonight we'll be telling you about the shocking Alex Jones news that has us pooping our pants. The prestigious Poison Ivy League presidents who are buying stock in gas chamber companies, and new charges that are starting to make it look like Hunter Biden might be a criminal, as well as Trump is dominating Hunter's dad in the polls. And what are we going to do about it? But first, LeBron James is making waves with a new career high, sitting for the national anthem at his son's USC basketball game, who is now finally back on the court after suffering a very safe and effective heart attack at the ripe old age of 19. Now, naturally, some people operating with the extremist ideology of Respect America thought LeBron's move was disrespectful to America. Yet LeBron seems to feel good about it, as he doesn't respect America. In the recent past, evidenced by his own words, the U.S. is a racist, oppressive country, says the billionaire who is loved and cherished by millions in this country, so much so that they literally call him king. I wouldn't mind a little of that oppression myself.
With his billionaire status, hundreds of millions of dollars of his wealth has come from his endorsement deal with Nike, which pays him with profits that come from their rather large margins due to using the sweatshop labor of oppressed people in China. Profiting to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars off of oppression, there's nobody better to listen to about oppression due to his first-hand experience doing it. And we send our sympathies to the king for his oppression. But UFC fighter Colby Covington appears to be less than sympathetic about James disrespecting America by sitting during the national anthem. Here's what he had to say about the king.
If you hate America so much and you don't like this country that gave you $1 billion, leave it or come deal with me. You go to China, go to these sweatshops that you employ all these laborers and use these women and pay them pennies on the dollar to make your millions. You, LeBron James, you're a coward, you're a spineless coward, and you're a bitch.
I think he speaks for all of us on that one. Oh, we're still rolling? He's just being racist. In other news, recently we were treated to seeing a congressional testimony on college campus anti-Semitism that involved the heads of prestigious Poison Ivy League schools looking rather anti-Semitic themselves. It is absolutely shocking to think that the heads of institutions that admit some students and reject others on the basis of their race could possibly be exhibiting discriminatory behavior. Since the testimony, UPenn President Liz McGill was forced to resign as her testimony didn't seem to go so well in the eyes of some. Take a look.
Ms. McGill, at Penn, does calling for the genocide of Jews violate Penn's rules or code of conduct? Yes or no?
If the speech turns into conduct, it can be harassment. Yes.
I am asking specifically calling for the genocide of Jews. Does that constitute bullying or harassment?
If it is directed and severe or pervasive, it is harassment.
So the answer is yes.
It is a context-dependent decision, Congresswoman.
It's worth noting the rather pleasant smile she had while doing a stellar job of answering the questions. Why are you smiling like that, Ms. McGill? Oh yeah, we are talking about the genocide of Jews, so it's understandable why you're joyfully smiling so much. I consider it to be the most soul-smoothing smile I've seen since the head of Biden's short-lived Ministry of Truth, Nina Jankowicz, joyfully haunted the nation with her smile. And just like Nina, the UPenn president's smile helped her work her way into not having a job anymore. But why are the heads of America's most prestigious institutions, that you should definitely send your kids to, receiving so much unfair criticism for suggesting that calling for the genocide of Jews doesn't even qualify as bullying or harassment? Isn't it just context dependent?
It is a context-dependent decision.
Well, our Hitler's best independent fact-checking system gives their statements a rating of 5 stars for accuracy. Meanwhile, within the story, Harvard president Dr. Gay is also catching additional heat for allegedly plagiarizing her PhD thesis during her indoctrination years. But I think we all know that plagiarism is mostly context dependent, which apparently means it's okay to do. During Dr. Gay's testimony, when asked if calling for the genocide of Jews is bullying or harassment, perhaps she should have just plagiarized someone saying yes. Despite her being pretty 1930s Germanish and her cheating her way through her indoctrination thesis, Dr. Gay still somehow has her job, most likely due to her high DEI score because she's a woman of color and for literally being gay. In other news, enemy of the Deep State #1, Alex Jones, has been re-platformed on Twitter and is getting a ton of exposure.
Was an amazing event to be on live with. Like, it was like electric to be on X
Twitter after
live
a 5-year ban,
that moment.
But Musk also held a Twitter
Because it just threw off
Jones
everyone
himself,
so much.
racking
It was
up
beautiful.
tens of millions of
It was so exciting.
Now, on the matter, I've been rather firmly instructed to warn you not to listen to Alex Jones. Everything he says is rather dangerous misinformation. It's all lies. Him being the first person to warn the world about what Epstein was doing proves that he's shamefully uncredible. Here you can see Jones, while on trial, telling such lies.
One of the things you've been talking about on your show is your allegation that government officials are aiding in pedophilia, child trafficking, and the grooming of children, right?
What do you mean, like what Jeffrey Epstein did with the Clintons?
It's ridiculous. And it being reinstated on Twitter and doing a Twitter Spaces with Elon Musk
That was
wasn't enough to
amazing.
scare us about how many more people will learn the misinformation about what's actually being done to them by the deep state and pedophiliac satanic elites. Tucker Carlson had Jones on his show, giving him even more exposure. In this clip, take a look at Jones making up crazy lies about Biden, suggesting he's somehow in decline and needs to be medicated so he can at least kind of look mentally with it.
But yeah, he is completely out of his mind. He wanders around for the entire 2.5 years. It's getting worse. Naked in the White House. In the middle of the night, doesn't know who he is. They have to give him a bunch of drugs, a bunch of amphetamines in the morning. And they've got to drug him.
I should have waited for a cracker before I heard this. Oh my god, I almost punched. Ew, that's gross.
I've established that I know someone who witnessed it. I'm not guessing at this. I know someone personally who witnessed him taking amphetamines.
We know it's all lies because there is no one we want to silence more than Alex Jones. He shares information about us elites that we desperately don't want you to know about. I mean, he shares misinformation that's extremely false and quite dangerous. Next up in the news, Hunter Biden, whose brother did not die in Iraq, is the son of Joseph R. Biden, who thinks his son did die in Iraq, has been in some hot water that just got even hotter. The apple, that didn't fall too far from the tree, has been charged with 9 new tax crimes, amongst the others. The biggest travesty with all this is that these mounting legal cases are no doubt, unfortunately, going to be distracting Hunter from creating even more paintings that sell for $500,000, which definitely isn't also a money laundering scheme. But we have proof that Hunter's innocent, which happens to be a video of Hunter saying he's innocent. Take a look.
I'm here today to answer at a public hearing any legitimate question Chairman Comer and the House Oversight Committee may have. I'm here today to make sure that the House Committee's illegitimate investigations of my family do not proceed on distortions, manipulated evidence, and lies.
We know that these charges are all frivolous and that Hunter is innocent because Hunter said so himself. Someone who has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on prostitutes, crack, has committed a felony with a firearm, and has taken illegal bribes from Ukraine and China, putting our national security at risk, certainly wouldn't stoop to doing something unbelievably low like lying. And in presidential news, new data shows that Trump is leading Hunter's dad in the polls in all 7 swing states. We, however, are not worried about Trump's growing popularity and Biden's declining popularity in the 2024 election. 8 years of media propaganda hasn't worked. Federal indictments haven't worked to take him down, but we have a plan to stop him that we know will work. What is it? Well, I'm not going to tell you.
And they'll have a left-winger assassinate Trump.
Well, yeah, that's the plan, but we weren't supposed to tell you about it. But you probably already knew that we're in a desperate spot, and that's the only thing we have left. So that's it for today's news. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the Zemsers in between, If you don't abort your kids like we want you to, then make sure you have them look up to American-hating superstars like LeBron James and get them educated at prestigious universities like UPenn, MIT, and Harvard so they can be equipped with plenty of success-fueling hate. They'll have a very bright future illuminated by a good social credit score, a policy that can only be ushered in by adults who grew up with influences like that. Good night. As a freedom-loving person, I want to be informed about what's going on in our country and around the world. But a problem with that is obviously we know media can be corrupt. They can be very biased. This is something that's given me so much frustration over the years because I want to be informed without being misled. I want transparency in the media that I consume. That's why I consider Ground News to be a godsend. Ground News is a website and app that compiles news from around the world into one place with transparency, telling you the exact political biases and leanings of the sources of information that you are consuming. So, for example, in recent news, we have this story of Elon Musk reinstating Alex Jones on Twitter. Ground News tells you the total number of articles published on this story, 231 in this case, and Ground News makes it easy to compare headlines from every article on every story. You can click on it and read it on its original source. And Ground News also tells you about the bias distribution, which is the political affiliation for each source and each story. For this particular story, we can see 53% are affiliated center, 28% affiliated on the left, and 19% on the right. And it's not Rolling Stone, for example, telling you what their political affiliation is. I'm not going to trust that. It's 3 independent news monitoring organizations that are determining what the bias distribution is. My freedom-loving friend, go to ground.news/awaken to see through the media bias and stay fully informed. And subscribe through my link for 30% off unlimited access this month only. Ground News is what all of us freedom lovers have been waiting for. One more time, that is ground.news/awaken. Enjoy, my friend.
Oh, this one was crazy. How long is this one? 2 hours, yeah. Oh, God. It was brilliant, though. It is a brilliant, brilliant speech. It's just also 2 hours. Let's go with this one. Hey, Jeffrey Epstein. Gross and dirty. So who's on the naughty
Doing
list?
everything he can to cover this up, to hide.
Who's on the naughty list?
Take a look right here. This is
Like-
a Fox News reporter questioning
Well,
Dick
you
Durbin
can
as he
see,
walks to a
like-
Judiciary Committee hearing.
Why won't you subpoena Jeffrey Epstein's
There's a
flight
lot,
logs?
like there's like 43
Hillary Vaughn with
pages, like 37 to 43 pages. Like,
anything about his flight.
I think I just gave
Why
up
don't you
after a
subpoena them?
point.
Why
I'm
don't
like,
you
I
want
do
to
not
know?
even want to
issue. I know
keep
who Epstein was,
seeing
but I certainly don't know anything
what
about
is
the issue.
going
Well, he
on.
was charged with
And
sex
that was just
trafficking, so
his
why don't you want to know
private
who
plane.
was utilizing his private plane?
Never been raised by anyone.
Well, Senator Blackburn
Oh,
wanted
it
to
was
subpoena them,
utilized,
and there
all
hasn't been a
right.
vote in your committee.
Oh, gross.
Not a word.
Like,
Aren't
why
you
are these
curious,
people in
like,
jail?
what high-profile or powerful people
I don't
might
know.
be closeted
It's
predators
gross.
and pedophiles? Does that concern you?
So Fox News asked Durbin that question in the hallway. You saw at the end. He's like, "Thanks, Fox."
Yeah.
This like nastiness. Well, what happened next was interesting. So Durbin went into the hearing room and he tried to try to rehabilitate himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for being here. The last few weeks, I've been demanding some answers on Jeffrey Epstein's crimes and trying to get these flight records. I've offered amendments to a subpoena, trying to get that, and kind of been stonewalled on it. But I think having transparency around Jeffrey Epstein's conduct and this massive sex trafficking ring that he built is important. And of course, you've had the chairman, Senator Ramos, Senator Ossoff, all who have mentioned
Sandra is just passing over Norway right now.
What is happening with sex trafficking? But in light of this,
and apparently on Google,
issues.
Santa's just getting to Nigeria, so maybe everyone gets it twice because Nora's faster than Google.
And indeed, one survivor says that the FBI, even after she
I'm sorry, but
repeatedly
this is like
content about his conduct,
still
that the FBI
I think they held him hostage for a while, they had to pay for some ransom.
Were there on both the
Nora's got it, don't worry about it. Santa is he's in Norway.
Blackburn,
where is he now?
I want to make a point for the record, since I understand you.
He's just heading for Bergen, Norway. Bergen, Norway.
In the hallway
I love this.
asked me about this. And I said I had not
It
spoken
would
to
like
you one time
it's so
about this
cool.
issue.
I would love to see Norway. I did have
I didn't know that this was even
apparently
the subject of your amendments, which, if you recall, you were the first on the list until the 2-hour rule was
It took like 3 months to send a card to Norway once.
Request on your part. I'll be happy to discuss it with you.
And
I haven't done any discussion.
Ragnar, if you're out there,
Mr. Chairman, I know.
I hope you're well. I hope you have your daughter.
I had 2 amendments. One dealing
That's all
with
I
Epstein and
ever
Sotomayor. I brought
wanted
it
for
up
him.
previously. We
And,
have
well,
such
I
an
think
issue in
we
this
all-
nation
It was a weird time.
with the sex trafficking, human trafficking rings that have proliferated across this country.
Sound
and it
of
is
freedom.
damaging the lives
It's
of
real.
women and girls.
It's
we
real.
have got to step up and help them. Getting to the bottom of what happened with this Jeffrey Epstein case is going to be an important thing to do. And it should be at the top of this committee's to-do list as we fight some of this proliferation of CSAM.
There were 122 amendments, I believe, filed. I did not know that you would have
177.
177 amendments filed. So I have to confess I didn't know that you'd offer that amendment. Happy to discuss it with you, but I want to point on the record. You and I have never personally discussed this, have we?
We talked briefly on the floor at the
Never mentioned
conclusion.
what the subject matter of your amendment was. You said you wanted to offer
In committee, I brought up the subject matter of my amendments.
Not in my
3
presence.
weeks prior. Yes, sir. It was. I'll pull the transcript for you.
I wish you
Thank you.
I wish you would.
What he said there is a flat out lie. It is objectively false. We're going to show that to you in just a moment. And I'll show you why. We're going to right now play the tape of that first hearing. Now, I was there, Marsha Blackburn was there, and Dick Durbin was there. And you're going to hear Marsha bring up her amendment about Jeffrey Epstein. He just said, you've never mentioned Jeffrey Epstein in my presence. I was not physically present. Well, you're going to see Dick Durbin recognize her and then cut her off while she's bringing up Jeffrey Epstein. Roll the tape.
Hi, I'm Prashant here from Global News. Thank you for your care and support.
And since we're in the business of issuing subpoenas now, here are a few more.
Please like and subscribe to him.
A subpoena to
the link
Jeffrey
is on my blog,
Epstein's estate to provide the flight
bluecryptomeria.gold.
logs for his private
It's a
plane,
real
given
domain.
the numerous allegations of human trafficking and sexual abuse surrounding Mr. Epstein. I think it is very important that we identify everybody that was on that plane and how many trips they took on that plane and the destinations to which they arrived. I've also filed a subpoena authorizing Secretary Becerra to come before this committee and explain to us how HHS and the Office of Refugee Resettlement has lost track of 85,000 children.
Thank you, Senator. When I recognized you, I didn't know what subject you wish to speak to. As I announced at the beginning, the first thing we'll consider the 2 judicial nominations, then we will move to the subpoena. And I see people seeking further recognition on that issue. So after lengthy debate on these nominees at the last meeting, the question is...
Mr. Chairman, I want to speak on the judges.
Senator Cotton.
She flat out says, I want to subpoena Jeffrey Epstein's flight records. And he hears it, he recognizes her, then he interrupts and says, no, I want to do some other stuff first.
Yeah, well,
this is easy to resolve. We should subpoena
there are
Epstein's
supposed ones. I have a Google Drive
Mr. Chairman,
of it,
thank you for
but a lot of it is so vague.
building
It's
this
like
out a little bit.
a lot of
Perez, I
nannies
appreciated
and
your
like
remarks. And
like
we're doing this at a
you
time
wouldn't
that I
see a
think
normal
so many
flight log.
people have lost sight of how important
They
it is to
doctored it
protect
to
children.
begin with, so
And to
even
your
if they're
point, Mr.
subpoenaed,
Perez,
it's not going to
how
make a
important
difference.
it is to go after these traffickers. And they're out there. You know they exist. They're on social media. And Nick Mick is trying to go after them. And it is vitally important that we go after these traffickers and these people that are making a profit off of going after the most vulnerable among us. And I know the chairman knows, some of you may know, for the last several weeks, I've been trying to figure out and to subpoena the records for Jeffrey Epstein's plane to find out who was on that plane. I've been so disappointed that Chairman Durbin has continued to block this because Jeffrey Epstein had probably what is the most high profile sex trafficking ring we've ever seen, ever heard about. It was high profile, high dollar people that were predators on these young girls. And I don't know why there is a push to block these records. We need to have access to this. We need to know who was on that plane, who was participating in this. They redacted those records in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. But getting to the bottom of this is important. And as we talk about protecting children and role of the federal government in this, for goodness sakes, let's try to figure out what HHS has done with 85,000 migrant children and where they are, whose hands they are in, the labor trafficking.
This is real numbers. This is a real, even though the background, this is from a real hearing.
We cannot find justice.
This
I
is
find it
filtered down, so you're not listening to 20 hours of hearings.
My request
but this is real.
Those flight logs. But we appreciate so much that y'all are here today.
Can we
And
just
Mr.
get the
Chairman,
logs?
your leadership on these issues, I appreciate. Thank you.
Oh, and
so
wasn't Trudeau
Marsha
on
Blackburn
those
introduced
flight
an amendment to
lists?
subpoena the flight
Quite a
logs.
few times.
I thought her idea was
Quite a few
fantastic. So I
times from
co-sponsored
what the
her
dark
amendment.
web
So it was
says.
a Blackburn
And I can't
Cruz
really
amendment
trust a lot of
to subpoena
things I
the
see
flight
on
logs. Now,
X. I don't
the
think you
first
can,
time we
but
were
at
gonna
the same
vote
time, it
on
looked
the
like
subpoenas on
he
Harlan
was
Crow
in the
and Leonard Leo.
27 to
We
37
didn't vote on
range.
them.
It's
I
not
can
like
tell
he
you
just
Dick
went there
Durbin
once or
was
twice
sitting in that
and
conference
was
room
like,
with John
okay, I'm not
Ossoff,
coming back
the
here.
freshman Democrat
Or
senator from
thanks for
Georgia
the
who
invite,
serves
but,
on judiciary.
you know,
Durbin and Ossoff were having
he
a
went there
heated
many,
conversation.
many times.
I don't know for sure what they were discussing. I didn't
I want to
overhear
know
their
the flight
conversation,
logs
but it
for
was
what our prime
energetic,
minister
and it
did
delayed and
down
delayed
there.
and delayed, and then
Because
Durbin ended
if
up
he
deciding
did what everyone
not
thinks
to
he
vote
did,
on the subpoenas. The way
he
he
shouldn't
did so, he
even.
allowed
We
no
shouldn't
amendments.
even
He just
need this
rammed it
petition.
through
He
and
should be in
blocked all
fucking
amendments.
jail.
And so the logical inference is the only way Durbin could get his votes for the Harlan Crow and Leonard Leo subpoenas is to stop a vote on the Jeffrey Epstein subpoena.
That's all for today. Thank you. If you want global news to keep you up to date on any
Thank
new
you very much,
developments,
brother.
please subscribe our channel and
Yes,
forward our content
definitely.
with your friends on
All of
social
the
media
street
and
links
emails.
are
Thank
in
you
my
very much for
blog,
keep supporting me. Stay safe,
bluecryptomeria.gold.
be blessed. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you. God bless you. And God bless America.
God bless Canada. Or no, more like help us. God bless America. Yes, God bless America. Hi, it's Canada. Are you out there? We're kind of, I know you're busy and all, but speaking of busy, where's Santa? Santa is over Switzerland. Santa's over Switzerland right now. Woohoo! Yay, Santa. I'm gonna keep pulling up. Like I have like so many days worth of clips, I can keep pulling them up, even without the artwork. But I'm just it helps me like warm up and not feel so socially anxiety about talking to people. Yay. Whatever. I know I seem like I'm like all like friendly and happy, and no, I'm not. I'm actually so shy. So this like
Pierre Poilievre has liberals running scared. His
I
blunt,
didn't used to
unfiltered
be.
criticism of Justin Trudeau in recent interviews has clearly struck a nerve. Poilievre argued Trudeau is no true liberal, but rather an authoritarian imposing radical ideology. While Poilievre outlines pragmatic conservative solutions, the rattled liberals can only fling mud. Their shrill attacks are in hollow next to Poilievre's reasoned arguments. Sensing a threat to their power, liberals are in damage control mode. But their exaggerations only make Poilievre stronger. His appeal is growing as he gives voice to those disillusioned with Trudeau's leadership. Poilievre speaks inconvenient truths, and the Liberals have no counterattack besides demonizing this messenger. Their fear betrays insecurity as Poilievre steadily exposes a government long on rhetoric but short on results. In the end, the party that has Canadian interests in mind will be the victor. But it seems like that concept is lost on Trudeau and his Liberals. Welcome back to Street Politics Canada. Pierre Poilievre has given several end-of-year interviews that have provoked strong reactions from Liberals. In a conversation with Andrew Lawton of True North Centre, Poilievre sharply criticized Justin Trudeau, saying he is not truly a liberal, but rather a radical authoritarian with illiberal tendencies. Poilievre asserted that his own common-sense conservative approach will appeal to former liberal voters dissatisfied with Trudeau's leadership.
What is that hurdle going to be for you in getting people who are not aligning themselves with the word conservative or the Conservative Party, but you think will go along with your vision?
I think it's connecting with people who are small C conservatives and turning them into big C conservatives. Jason Kenney used to say this all the time. So, I was meeting with a group from the Tamil community today, and they basically said, we're conservative on everything. Family values, they all run small businesses, they want law and order in their community, and they're heavily patriotic. But the party hadn't built a relationship with their community. So I have to go in one by one and make the friendships and the relationships, look people in the eye, and make that personal connection so that they can vote their values, which are all conservative. The other thing about our coalition is that there's not going to be a Liberal Party in the next election. Justin Trudeau, of course, is not a Liberal. He's a radical authoritarian. He's the opposite of Liberal. He's very illiberal. And so I'm going to be going to a lot of Liberal voters and say, this is not the party of Chrétien, Manley, Martin. This is a radical authoritarian diversion that you've never seen before and that you don't recognize. And let's vote for what was the common sense consensus of Canada before he came along.
This interview, among others, has gained a strong reaction from Liberals as they held a press conference specifically to complain about the interviews. Pierre Poilievre's blunt critiques of Justin Trudeau in recent interviews have clearly rattled the Liberal Party establishment. Feeling threatened by Poilievre's rising popularity, Liberals Stephen McKinnon and Mark Juretson hastily called a press conference this week to blast the Conservative leader. However, their overly defensive complaints only serve to highlight Poilievre's effectiveness in directly calling out the failures of the Trudeau government. Rather than addressing any of the substantive policy critiques made by Poilievre, the Liberals try to paint him as an extremist engaging in dangerous right-wing rhetoric. McKinnon claimed Poilievre was spewing his right-wing stuff without really having any kind of aggressive questioning in comfy, fuzzy little interview spaces. Juretson echoed this, saying, if you actually stop and listen, you actually end up hearing nothing from Poilievre except attacks on Trudeau.
But this characterization could not be further from the truth, and it shows that they are in fact not truly listening to what Poilievre is saying. In extended year-end interviews with the Toronto Sun's Brian Lilley, True North's Andrew Lawton, and the National Post's Rex Murphy, Poilievre has consistently used his platform to take Trudeau to task on pressing issues like inflation, energy policy, crime, parental rights in schools, and more. In his interview with Brian Lilley, Poilievre slammed the Trudeau government's aggressive push towards electric vehicles. Poilievre argued that the mandated transition amounts to an unfair car tax that will hurt low-income Canadians. Poilievre noted that many working-class people will not be able to afford the higher upfront costs of electric vehicles. This risks preventing them from being able to drive to work and earn a living. Poilievre favors a more moderate approach that works cooperatively with industry to improve fuel efficiency standards.
Look, we think there's a very serious risk that this will mean massive new costs for consumers, particularly low-income people. Electric vehicles are more expensive than our traditional internal combustion or hybrid models. So I worry that a lot of working class, low-income people will not be able to own a car. That means they can't get to work. That means their lives are turned upside down. I would rather work with the manufacturers on incentives and smart light touch regulations that encourage more energy efficiency in each automobile that comes off the assembly line, and improve small incremental steps year after year after
Going
year.
after,
That
yay!
would both reduce emissions
Just
and
over
costs for
Amsterdam.
consumers without risking a sort of massive increase in purchase price.
Love
at
it,
the
love it,
dealerships
love the farmers.
for our consumers.
Love to everyone in
This could
Amsterdam.
amount to a car tax in the end, a very large car tax, and it will hammer the poorest people the hardest, as we know, as it always does. So common
Sorry,
sense
Merry
conservatives will protect
Christmas.
consumers and businesses by rejecting these kinds of extreme and radical policy shifts.
He pointed out that Canada's electricity grid is not even ready for a sudden surge in EV charging needs.
Oh
Poilievre
no,
wants to
we
repeal
aren't. We
Trudeau's
don't even
Bill
have like
C-69, which
basic
hinders building energy
infrastructure here.
to
This
support
is
an
why
electric
it's so
future.
expensive
In
for
Poilievre's
me
view,
to
the
even
transition to EV should happen more organically
broadcast
based on
like
consumer
I do.
choice, not by regulatory
And I
fiat.
bitch
Once
about
again,
it all the
Poilievre
time.
is giving voice to those concerned about top-down government dictates that hurt ordinary Canadians. In his interview with Rex Murphy, Poilievre reaffirmed his commitment.
Like,
have
we
to
gave
respect
all that
parental
money
rights, and I stand
to
for
all
parental
these
rights
other
because I trust
countries,
parents to
right?
make the right decision for their kids. He supports policies implemented by conservative premiers requiring parental
But they need
notification
it
or
more than
consent if
Canadians,
children request
right?
pronoun or name changes at
Doesn't
school.
matter.
Poilievre
Like, they
framed this
got
as
all
an
this
issue of
money,
freedom,
we
saying,
didn't.
"My role as a prime
Like,
minister is not
we
going to
got,
be to impose my
like,
values on other
pew,
people. It's to get out of their faces and run
by
a
our
competent
government.
government." On climate policy, Poilievre outlined an approach
So
focused
now
on
it's
expanding energy supply rather than
Amsterdam.
restricting
Now it's
fossil
going
fuels.
on
He advocated
to.
speeding up approvals for green energy projects, while also restoring investment
I
in oil
cannot
and
pronounce
gas.
that. I will
Poilievre
not
argued
even
global
try and
oil
pronounce
demand
that. I'm sorry.
necessitates Canada supplying more energy.
Better
Poilievre has
trend
consistently used his
Belgium.
platform
Now
to
they're
take
going
Trudeau
over
to task on
Belgium.
pressing issues like inflation,
Stannis
energy
over
policy,
Belgium. You
crime,
better
parental rights in
be in
schools, and
bed
more.
if
Rather than engage
you
with
want
these
Santa to
substantive
give you
policy
presents.
proposals outlined by Poilievre, the Liberals
This
have
is,
opted for petty
you
attacks
know,
and fear
this is
mongering.
pretty
Instead of
serious.
addressing Poilievre's pragmatic approaches on issues like energy and climate, the Liberals call a press conference to desperately try to sully his image, especially after he was voted 2023's Newsmaker of the Year. Unable to counter Poilievre's resonating common-sense conservatism, they have pathetically resorted to hurling tired accusations and labels intended to discredit him. The Liberals' tactics reveal their insecurity and inability to compete with Poilievre on the issues that matter to Canadians. Their name-calling aims to distract from their own failures in government that Poilievre has effectively highlighted. But Canadians see through these baseless attacks. Poilievre is simply giving voice to long-ignored concerns, speaking blunt truths about Trudeau's failures, which explains his surging popularity. The reflexive demonization of Poilievre as some kind of
And
right-wing
we're back to
radical
the
rings
Netherlands
hollow when he's
again.
thoughtfully addressing kitchen table issues
Santa's
affecting ordinary
actually, like, he
Canadians.
had to do
Rattled by
a
the
little
prospect of losing
U-tour.
power, the Liberals
I
want
think
to
there was a
stifle
cul-de-sac
Poilievre's blunt
there,
truth-telling that makes them
so he had
uncomfortable.
to
But
go
their
back to
contrived
the
outrage
Netherlands
only
now.
validates that he is effectively speaking truth to power and causing
But,
discomfort for
you know,
Trudeau's government.
Santa's
The
coming.
Liberals' attempts to steal
Santa's been
Poilievre's shine will
watching.
surely fail, given his organic connection to ordinary Canadians tired of Trudeau's leadership. The Liberals should reflect carefully on why Poilievre's unfiltered criticisms resonate rather than making vain efforts to demonize him. Their press conference reeked of insecurity and proved Poilievre's point that Trudeau prefers avoiding accountability.
No,
McKinnon even went so far as to
just
imply
want
that
all the
Poilievre
kids
stands
to
for
know
nothing beyond attacking
that
Trudeau.
even though
But this
with all the
ignores the detailed
conflicts
policy
going on,
plans
Santa
Poilievre has
is
released on
very
housing
safe.
affordability, inflation,
Norrid's
and
been
energy
tracking
production.
him.
Poilievre wants to empower
All the
ordinary
reindeer
Canadians,
are
not impose
great,
top-down
or
government
you know, the
dictates. That's why he
kangaroos. Like I
threatens the
think
Liberals' power structure. And once again, the
Australia
Liberals have
got
desperately
first,
resorted
so
to
the
trotting out their
kangaroos
favorite
are all
deer,
unhinged. They're
Poilievre is
getting
a MAGA
food,
Republican attack.
carrots.
This is not the first time they have tried to push that narrative about the Conservative leader. Despite the fact that this baseless smear has only strengthened Poilievre's grassroots support
That's a
each time
touchy
they've used it, the Liberal elites just keep throwing the words around. They seem incapable of learning that trying to portray Poilievre as a Trump-style figure motivates his base even more. No matter how many times it blows up in their faces, the out-of-touch Liberals continue attempting to tar Poilievre with a MAGA label. As we have discussed before in a previous video, this repetitive tactic only spotlights their fear of Poilievre's populist appeal. If you want to check that video out, we'll leave it in the description. The Liberals' hysterical reaction to Poilievre's interviews exposes the weakness of their position. With no substantive counter-arguments, they have pathetically resorted to exaggeration and fear-mongering. Their claims that Poilievre is an extremist ring hollow next to his pragmatic policy proposals. Beyond exposing liberal
that was
failures,
a whole lot of
Poilievre has
P
outlined
for
thoughtful plans on housing, inflation, energy, and more.
That's a
His
good
appeal
word
across
for
partisan lines
that
shows he
word
understands
salad.
Canadians'
Holy shit,
economic
man.
anxieties. The Liberals clearly feel
But
threatened
that was
by
an
his
actual
ability to connect to
quote.
voters'
Like,
lived
that's
experiences.
not-
Their shrill
sounds
attacks
right on
only
the
grow
creator,
Poilievre's support
like,
from those longing
that's
for
an
accountable
actual
leadership.
quote.
The Liberals would be wise to reflect on Poilievre's critique rather than making desperate bids to preserve their crumbling facade. Well, that's all for now. Do you think Poilievre's claim that Trudeau is not a true liberal, but rather an authoritarian rings true? Let us know what you think in the comments below. And if you haven't, please subscribe and leave a like for this video. Your support helps us continue our work.
Street
You can also
Politics
follow us on
Canada.
Twitter,
They
where
are
we
an
post stuff we can't
awesome.
post on YouTube. You can find the link in the description below.
Yeah.
Thanks again for your
Follow
support.
them on
and I will
X.
see you in the next one.
Once again, big shout out to everyone on X and Twitch. I love you guys. Oh, this one. Oh, I might get a strike for this
One
one.
of the most popular
Hopefully
decoys
not.
of
It's
the
only a
war were
minute.
paper mache heads. The job of making decoy heads out of paper mache was entrusted to camouflage units. Sculptors working in these workshops made a huge variety of decoy heads with great precision and resemblance to real human heads. This push for realism was necessary because they were to be observed through scopes with magnifying lenses. In order to increase the realistic look of the head, some of these were equipped with rubber surgical tubes connected to the mouth with a cigarette in it. By blowing air through the tube, an impression of a soldier smoking a cigarette was made. If the deception was successful and the dummy head was hit by a sniper, bullet holes were then used to locate the sniper with the help of a triangulation method. Or another method was to slide a periscope into the head and spot the sniper that way. Once the approximate location was established, the sniper's position was bombarded by artillery or
And
counter
people
snipers
think
would focus on that
artists
area.
are useless. I love that. Oh no! You took art. That's a useless skill. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Yeah, I know. Should we watch that again just to show how useless artists are? Like, should we do that? You know, just let's actually replay that.
One of the
Yeah,
most popular decoys of the war were paper mache heads. The job
just
of
to
making decoy
sink it
heads out of
in.
paper mache
Yeah,
was entrusted to camouflage
artists aren't
units.
useless.
Sculptors working in these workshops made a huge variety of decoy heads with great precision and resemblance to real human heads. This push for realism was necessary because they were to be observed through scopes with magnifying lenses. In order to increase the realistic look of the head, some of these were equipped with rubber surgical tubes connected to the mouth with a cigarette in it. By blowing air through the tube, an impression of a soldier smoking a cigarette was made. If the deception was successful and the dummy head was hit by a sniper, bullet holes were then used to locate the sniper with the help of a triangulation method. Or another method was to slide a periscope into the head and spot the sniper that way. Once the approximate location was established, the sniper's position was bombarded by artillery or counter snipers would focus on that area.
No. I know it's hard getting established as an artist, but considering it's World War III, I think I might have a chance this time. Yay! Maybe the next time I'm just gonna hit A or C or D, the whole.
Colonel, what about that point about this terrible mistake that led to the death of the 3 Israeli hostages? Now that some time has gone by and an investigation, I presume, is underway, what lessons have been learned?
Like I
as
said,
you look into what caused this and what
trigger
happened?
warning, please don't shoot the messenger.
Yes, definitely one of the most heartbreaking and difficult events that we've been dealing with in this quite dreadful war that's been going on now for 73 days and nights. 129 Israeli hostages still remain in Hamas captivity. And that event, of course, has been looked into. We're not doing a criminal investigation. It's been an after-action review presided by senior commanders in the IDF. The chief of staff himself was very quick on the ground to understand what exactly happened and why things happened, and has issued guidance to all of the forces in the Gaza Strip how to hopefully prevent any such event in the future, clear guidance on what the rules of engagement are, and that specifically in any case, anybody, whether they look Israeli or not, raising a white flag and marching towards our troops should not be considered immediately a threat.
They shouldn't have been anyway, right? This would have been a violation, again, I'm presuming, of the rules of engagement that you already had. This was a mistake that was made. In other words, the rules of engagement were not an issue here. Will there be any changes, though? However, you mentioned reiterating, are there any changes being made to how the Israeli military engages with civilians in Gaza as a result of this?
No, there isn't, because it became very clear from the beginning that the soldiers who fired, they operated contrary to our rules of engagement, and they shouldn't have fired. And as such, what is needed were only clarifications and for commanders to make sure that the soldiers understand. And of course, in this very chaotic and dynamic environment where the enemy is dressed in civilian clothes and often uses tricks like this, dressed up as civilians, carrying white flags in order to trick Israeli soldiers. These are common practices of Hamas on the battlefield, and that is probably one of the reasons why the soldier was mistaken as he was. But bottom line, we have that clarified.
This is the problem with this conflict. It is actually like the people you thought you could trust
commanders have spoken with them,
are
terrorists. It's not over. Of course, we will
or are affiliated or
taken, but let's not forget that that same unit
and I can not condone the actions on October 7th.
Busy with fighting Hamas and overcoming very significant
it was if you were trying to get people
involved in the fight.
Yes,
imagine if they had used that concrete for
and focusing their efforts on getting
projects, not tunnels. Like, I'm sorry.
On a broader issue that's not directly related to that incident.
And anyone on X, I don't mean to offend my
for the United States, Lloyd Austin
friends
there
in Gaza, but
said this earlier. Secretary Austin.
But
democracies are stronger and more secure when we uphold the law of war. And as I've said, protecting Palestinian civilians in Gaza
and I
is
understand
both
why
a moral duty
it happened.
And a strategic
imperative. Better than you guys do.
So we will continue to stand
but at
up
the same
for
time,
Israel's bedrock right to defend itself.
There are no good sides on
And
this.
we will also
I don't
continue
think
to
Canada
urge the
should be
protection of
involved.
civilians during conflict and to increase the flow of humanitarian aid into Gaza.
What would you say about those last 2 points about what's being done as the U.S. continues to urge? Has anything changed in the last week or so from the Israeli point of view?
No.
Yeah, I was on the ground and I met part of the team of the secretary today. And I think this is another very important visit of a very senior American official, ongoing, very intimate relations between Israeli and American counterparts at all levels, the highest level, at the head of state, and of course, military.
Break it up a bit.
Those two things are implemented. We have added and enhanced humanitarian aid flowing into the Gaza Strip. We've opened up
Santa is heading for Andorra.
Closed for
Santa
almost
will
70
be
days
in
during
Andorra,
the war. And
Libya.
now, upon request of
Andorra
President
in
Biden
1
and
minute
with support
and
of the
13
United
seconds.
States and of other stakeholders, that is now open.
And
more
meanwhile,
goods
on
are
Google,
flowing into the
Santa,
Gaza Strip. The hope
unfortunately,
is, and
is
what's
still
really
being
important, is that
located
the
in.
humanitarian aid really gets to those who need it
Where the hell
and
is
isn't
Santa?
siphoned off and stolen
Okay,
by
yes,
Hamas thugs,
Santa
which
is
we have seen
in.
happening in the Gaza Strip.
Yes,
One last
Santa is
question on the war.
actually
In a broad
in
sense, we've seen the
Albania.
reports of the raids the IDF is carrying out in
So I
Gaza,
think
mostly
maybe
in
like
southern Gaza now.
I
There's
think
still
they might have
pockets of
like
northern
Santa
Gaza, but we
clone
also see
himself
the
this
reports
year,
along the border with
just
Lebanon
because
of the
like
clashes that
Google
have
has Santa
increased
going
there
one way,
with Hezbollah.
NORAD
So how
has
close
Santa going another
are
way,
we at
and
this
they're
point
all
to
going
an
on the
all-out
same
war
route.
with
But I think
Hezbollah
it's
that would
actually
widen
just
this conflict
Google
significantly? What's the latest
is
on that
late
front?
because
Yeah,
that
you're
way
totally
Santa
correct in the
can,
threat here and the possibility
you
of
know,
a
if
very
Santa
big
missed anyone
conflict
because
here,
Santa's
much bigger
busy,
than what we're dealing with Hamas, because Hezbollah is much more
they
powerful,
and some of
much
these
more weapons
kids like, hey,
provided
maybe
by
they
Iran.
repented. They
And
saw
I
their,
can tell you
you
that we
know,
are
neighbors
closer
getting
today
gifts,
to
and they're
war
like,
than we were yesterday.
I'll be a good
Unfortunately, there's
kid,
continued
and then
Hezbollah aggression.
Santa,
They are
Google
playing a
Santa
very,
comes
very
because
dangerous
Google
game
Santa
here. They're
is
threatening
like
to pull Lebanon
not on the
into
same
the
place
list with them.
as
And
NORAD.
it's a very challenging situation. We are
So
defending and
trust the
hoping
NORAD,
that a
Santa.
diplomatic
Santa's
solution can
safe.
be
Santa's
found. If
good.
it isn't found, then we stand ready to defend ourselves.
So I just want to make sure it's clear what you're telling us. So you're on the brink of all-out war with Hezbollah on the Lebanese border, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
pretty much. Well, they have
I'm
been for
saying that
years,
if a
but
diplomatic
it just
solution
now it's
isn't
really
found by
now it's
various
real.
stakeholders, then we as the military are of course
Merry
ready to defend
Christmas.
our citizens and also the tools that we have at our disposal.
I shouldn't be
Okay, Lieutenant
laughing,
Colonel
but
Connery,
it's
this as
just
always. Thank you
when you go
for answering
through a
all the questions. We
conflict,
appreciate
you're
your time.
just it's when you go through a conflict, it hits you. And so sometimes if I laugh, it's probably not real laughter. It's like PTSD. What can you say? It's been a long year. It's been a weird year. Who likes Bud Light? But yeah, once again, that one's a long one. I don't know if I'll pull that one up. Oh, Denmark. Yeah, this one, that one's also a long one. Let's see what else is. Aw, this is sad.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I'm Nate Eaton here with Josh and Jordan. We are in the small town of Teton today, and we have a poignant surprise for actually two families. You may recall just a few weeks ago, there was a horrible crash where an 18-year-old boy and his 17-year-old girlfriend both were killed. She was pregnant, 6 months pregnant, but unfortunately the baby passed away as well. Well, there's now two families grieving the loss of these two young lives cut short way too soon. And neither one of their funerals has been paid for. And funerals can be a little pricey. In fact, for the one girl, Anayi, her funeral apparently was $7,500. And then for the young man, Gerardo, his was $8,900. So around $16,000 for both. And Secret Santa's paying for both of those funerals. Hi.
Hey, it's doing.
How are you?
Good.
Are you Gerardo?
Yeah, Dad.
You're the dad. Well,
Come in.
oh, it's okay. We won't be here long. We're just here to drop off a gift. How are you guys doing?
That's about it.
Yeah. Well, we wanted to come and express our condolences. And there's so many people in this community thinking about you. And,
Oh yeah, the community's great.
yeah.
It's just people that don't even know that came by.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this is from an anonymous Secret Santa who asked us to drop this off to you.
Well, tell them.
We will. We'd love to see you open it. You can just pull the lid right off. So the funeral's been paid. All you have to do is drop that off at the funeral home, and you don't have to worry about any of the expenses.
Okay. So just drop this at the funeral.
Right.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
All right. You bet. Merry Christmas. So good to see you. I'll give you and take care. Bye, sweetie. Can I get a fist bump? Yeah. What a smile.
Yeah, thanks whoever donated. Means a lot. So,
Well, you guys try to have a good Christmas.
yeah, I will try. I don't know. So,
Aw.
Well, God bless you. Our heart goes out to you all.
okay.
See you later. Bye-bye. We're looking for Maria.
I'm Maria, but another Maria.
Oh, two Marias?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I don't know which one we're looking for. This is the one. How are you?
He is so
Not too good. I can't
compassionate
imagine
and
you're not doing
gracious.
well. I'm Nate with East Idaho News. We just wanted to come and express our condolences and our love to you. And we have a gift from a secret Santa who
And
asked us
it's
to
not
visit
like
you.
he plans it. He just is the messenger.
So
Don't
I'd love to see you open it.
and this poor woman, like these two families, like
Okay. So your daughter's funeral's been paid.
Okay. Oh, that's so hard, my baby. I know. I know.
Well, there's a lot of people thinking about you guys and sending their love and praying for you. And
Thank you.
we know that can't bring her back, obviously, but hopefully that can help relieve a bit of stress,
Okay.
financial stress.
Okay, thank you so much for your appointment.
Merry Christmas. Can I give you a hug?
Yes.
Wish you guys all the best.
Thank you. That's so hard. I mentioned my babies, my 3 families, so that's my families.
She would have been 18?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm just so sorry.
how long is this one?
From relative obscurity to being banned from some of the most prestigious sporting events on the globe, Salt Bay, as he's known to most, went from a viral meme
Okay,
to one of
this
the most hated people on the internet.
like is this a real person? I know, to go
Nusret
from
Gökçe
like
was
really
born in
sad to
1983 Turkey
bizarre.
to a British family. He grew up poor with his father working in the mines, which forced him to leave school at the age of 12.
Sorry,
to become an apprentice butcher.
it's good to break it up. That last one
Growing
is
up around
hard.
food, it's unsurprising
It's
he
so
pursued
sad
this
for those
profession further
families.
into adulthood. Around 2007, he began to travel around the world volunteering in kitchens wherever he went, just to gain the experience in the industry. In 2010, he returned to Istanbul where he opened his first restaurant, Nusret Steakhouse. This was a smash success. Reviews talk about great food, the nice atmosphere, perfect service, and an incredible bargain in pricing. 3 people could eat a 3-course meal with coffees and soft drinks for around $70 total. Within a year of being open, with people claiming it to be the best steakhouse in Istanbul, the prices had went up massively. $70 would get one person a meal. This continued to get higher and higher until 2014, where $70 wouldn't even get you 4 cans of Red Bull anymore. So what happened? Being an ambitious man who had travelled the world, Nusret's next step was to bring his fine dining cuisine to the billionaire's backyard, Dubai. This restaurant, unlike the humble beginnings, was all about flair and excess. The perfect place to eat for those who have money and enjoy flaunting it. Social media trends for the restaurant chain name were starting to increase. Images of people enjoying their $400 steaks and their $10,000 bills started to circulate, And despite the ridiculousness of
I
that
have
sentence,
steak for
it only increased in
Christmas.
popularity
I'm a
as time went
cowgirl.
by.
It's gonna be
One
so
of the reasons
awesome.
social
I'm
media
so
has received
excited.
criticism is for exactly this type of excess, where spending extravagant amounts of money on the same products or
And my
services,
steak
sometimes
looks a lot
inferior to
hella
that of cheap
better than
alternatives,
that.
is seen as a
Ew.
good thing for your social status.
That's
Now take
not.
that concept
That's not.
and turn it into a physical location.
Right.
That was the Dubai branch of Nusret Steakhouse. This, however, was just the beginning. You've probably all seen videos at some point of expensive restaurants where the service staff do some interesting, cool, unique, or terrible presentation or experience with a dish served tableside. Well, Nusret had seen these as well, and by 2017 he had multiple restaurants that were full of people with their phones out, showing their friends and followers what it's like to spend $1,000 per head on a 3-course meal, and now it came with more flair than before. If you were in the restaurant at the same time as the owner, you might be lucky enough for a slightly sweaty man to come over, cook your steak tableside with some special salty seasoning technique. Enter the creation of a monster. This video was literally everywhere. Immediately the term Salt Bae skyrocketed across social media. Suddenly his restaurant name was seeing more Google searches by orders of magnitude in recent years. People were scrambling to either see why this was so popular or to find out if they could afford to go and experience this viral sensation themselves. Essentially, a man who people thought were attractive was sprinkling salt in a funny way that bounced off of his elbow and onto your steak had been so popular that it propelled the man and the chain of restaurants decades into the future of success. He took his 15 minutes of fame and translated it into over $50 million. Of course, hard work and ambition got him to the stage, and he did make good food, have a good restaurant experience, and then, of course,
I could
foresight
roll
to
around in
capitalize on
salt
this.
for,
Celebrities from
you
every
know,
industry
oh
on
my
the planet
god, I
were
could do
finding their
this.
way to the viral sensation's tables. He was being interviewed by massive publications. Salt Bae was everywhere. He started opening new restaurants all over the world, each with the same or higher absurd food prices. Despite the reason for the success being that of seeing him do the Salt Bae act with food, just the brand name alone was enough to attract those wealthy enough to eat gold-covered steaks, and of course post the pictures on Instagram. So now you've heard about why he is successful. He came from poverty, worked his whole life, and did incredibly well for himself. An actual great story to hear. We can think the price of the food is ridiculous, but aside from that, no real reason to hate the guy at all. No one's forced to eat there. They did it for the sickness that is the social media cloud. I can't be mad that he was smart enough to capitalize on the fame and turn this into a restaurant empire. So when did things start going wrong for Salt Bae and the public's opinion of him? Well, to be as flamboyant and out there as he already was by this stage requires a certain personality type. This personality type, whatever we want to call it, is one that feeds on attention. With the money, the posing with the celebrities every night, the fame, it can turn some people into a complete monster. In Turkey, you would ask a kid, what would you like to be? He or she would say a doctor, an engineer, astronaut. Now everybody wants to be a butcher because of me. Now if you ask a kid, they want to be Salt Bae. They see me as an idol. I'm an inspiration to a lot of people in a very short period of time. Now this is not a joke. Obviously I can't really stop myself from laughing here, but this was an interview from Salt Bae published in late 2021 with The Times. The statement, when read by most people, does of course betray the narcissism of Salt Bae. It's not enough to be wildly successful as he is, but needing to make out that he is a literal idol to children because he sprinkles salt on steak. And far be it from me to say that he's entirely wrong, and no kids have said they want to be Salt Bae because he's rich and famous, which kids definitely want to be. But I can say kids do not by and large want to be a butcher, since butchers have and still do exist across the globe and receive no fame or fortune for their work. If we approach this statement with the most charitable lens possible, what he's confusing is kids want to have over 50 million followers on Instagram, hang out with their favorite social media stars, football players and actors, while having $60 million in a dozen restaurants, which doesn't make Salt Bae an idol. It makes him any other rich and famous person on the planet who kids want to be. The occupation is completely irrelevant at that stage. The reaction to this quote on social media tells the story of what, normal people thought about this, with someone calling him the Kanye West of putting salt on things, but without the charisma, which hasn't aged extremely well, to be honest. Now, some of the more behind-the-scenes reasons as to why people don't like Salt Bae is he's accused of poor treatment of workers despite making a considerable sum of money. This comes in the form of employees claiming he was taking a cut of their tips, and when they brought it up, he fired them. He settled this out of court for $230,000, then the other lawsuit against him for more tip-related shenanigans. There's also the constant discussion about the insane prices, just the excess of it all, including one bill that came from London that went public at £37,000 for a meal. Then there's the disregarding of health safety rules, which got one of his restaurants closed in Boston. But all of that is nothing compared to what comes next. If going viral created Salt Bae, it would only be poetic that going viral also destroyed Salt Bae.
Think about it. Yeah, well, you think if he plays in MLS for the next 3 years, there's a World Cup in the States.
He's like...
This is one of, if not the most awkward videos I've ever seen. Salt Bae fully displays his main character syndrome at the World Cup finals when Argentina lifted the trophy in the back-and-forth nail-biting match against France. Within minutes of what is the most emotional high of their life, one of the most prestigious and coveted achievements in the world of sports, a completely unrelated and not even Argentinian man who is famous because of pouring salt from his salty elbow was standing next to the players, grabbing the World Cup trophy from them players who just won, doing his viral salt motions on it, lifting it in the air, kissing it, just about everything he shouldn't have been doing and had absolutely no right to do. The internet was yet again on fire with talk of hashtag Salt Bae. This time, though, it wasn't 2017's bewilderment and intrigue. It was derision, cringe, and anger. Whenever you thought this was over, another clip or image surfaced of this man doing something else to the world champions, though the biggest being Messi's look of utter confusion when he was being repeatedly grabbed from behind by a butcher from Turkey. In the aftermath of being laughed at for this specific interaction, not content with being humbled a little bit and reflecting on what it is people were unhappy about regarding his behaviour, Salt Bae did what any other narcissist would do. He posted a video on his Instagram of himself and Lionel Messi meeting, shaking hands, exchanging a few words and taking a picture at one of his restaurants. Salt Bae's post also tagged Messi, but all three hashtags were about Salt Bae, salt, and of course not forgetting hashtag Salt Life. This is clear to all as a pathetic grasp at saving face. That Messi does in fact like him, and they are friends of some kind, as opposed to what we all know, which is if you're famous and you go to a place with other famous people, you might exchange a few words and take a picture, especially if you're eating at this person's restaurant. That, however, doesn't give you the right to grab them repeatedly in the best moment of their life on a pitch you shouldn't be on. Following this, Salt Bae has been banned from the US Open, and FIFA are opening an investigation into his antics at the World Cup. They want to know why and how this man was so close to the players in the aftermath, and why was he touching the cup, which is strictly against the rules. The only people who are allowed to touch it are the winners and a few officials, as this is one of the most, if not the most prestigious achievements in sports. Music events are also following suit on the ban, just saying Salt Bae can't come here, of course to get their own taste of the clout that comes from doing so when a topic's going viral. A bit of self-awareness here. But it's hard to be mad at them because of how thoroughly unlikable this man seems to be from these recent events. In terms of his restaurants, what started out as being good food for a reasonable price turned into excess for the sake of it, existing solely for people who want to flex that they ate at an internet memes restaurant with a piece of meat that is no better than something 1/10 of its cost, essentially making it a Supreme t-shirt but on a plate. Since then, as it gets more and more popular, he opens more and more restaurants. The reviews show a clear trend. The more recent you go, the more people talk about overpriced, poor service, long wait times, and ridiculously over-the-top items on every menu that exist only to serve as pictures on Instagram. Despite the criticisms of the food and the pricing and Salt Bae himself, he continues to open new locations constantly, with the most recent being the Salt Bae Burger in New York, which has awful reviews and serves up exactly what you would expect. Overpriced mediocrity that exists entirely to say, I ate at Salt Bae's restaurant. While Salt Bae undoubtedly worked hard for what he had before the fame, and likely works hard now after it, The man has an out-of-control ego, and it shows that viral social media clout can literally take you anywhere as long as you try hard enough. From a salty elbow on a sweaty man to holding the World Cup above his head for absolutely no reason. That's why everybody hates Salt Bae, although I'm sure some people will still continue to dine out at his clout restaurants, paying $17 for an abomination of a milkshake and $120 for a golden cheeseburger.
Wow. Merry Christmas. Yeah, that's weird. I'm sorry, that's weird. I don't care. So overpriced and, like, why would you do that? This one's funny.
It's actually cake. That clip is from a show called Texas Cake House. We filmed it back in 2016. For the show, I had the idea of placing my hyper-realistic cake sculptures in plain sight. In this episode, I wanted to see if I could trick people into believing this cow skull cake was a real cow skull. I even hung it on the wall to really mess with them. As you could tell from the clip earlier, it worked on that guy. To be fair, it worked on everybody at the party, including the married couple who the surprise cake was for. Do you want to see their reaction to this hanging cow skull cake? So we're going to do a little bit of a cut the cake and yeah.
It was a real skull. It looked so good. Oh, good. And you can eat the flowers out of the
Yes, they would be sugar flowers. You don't do a cake unless you can eat the flowers. Otherwise, people will try and eat them, and then it's awkward. So, oh God, this was so much cringe. So much cringe. Trigger warning.
Are you a sexual pervert?
Yeah, he is.
Why are you telling me?
Yes, he is.
This is filming here.
We see. Look, there's people right there in the front row recording. Look at that
Everyone
woman in the
else is
corner.
recording.
There is a 50-year-old male.
This is so gross. I'm
invaded
sorry.
The change room and showers of 13-year-old girls. A 50-year-old man changing with 13-year-old girls. Do you have a record of sexual perversion? Protect me from these people. Protect us from what? David Menzies for Rebel News here in Barrie, Ontario. Well, I'm standing in the East Bayfield Community Centre. That is the venue for the Trojan Cup. It's a swimming competition.
I actually wish this was the meme. I wish this was the meme. This was fake news. But this really happened.
AKA Melody Weishart. He is the 50-year-old man we discovered swimming with.
Ew, like gross.
At the Markham Pan Am Centre, just north of Toronto in October. Well, he's back. It's like Jaws 2, isn't it? And the thing is, why? Why is this being tolerated? For starters, consider that the world's governing body, that would be World Aquatics, introduced regulations earlier this year that state male swimmers who transitioned after puberty cannot swim with females. Sapita transitioned well after puberty, so he's breaking the rules of the world governing body. And Swim Ontario, Swim Canada, this community centre, they seem to have absolutely no problem with that. And by the way, this is not to say Nicholas Sapita should be banned from the pool. What World Aquatics did was introduce another category specifically for transgender people. And you know, at the World Swimming Championships back in October in Berlin, Germany, not one person entered the other category. So you have to wonder, don't you, folks? The trans community has been screaming for years and years, tolerance, acceptance, we want to compete. Well, World Aquatics allowed that to give them their own division. Nobody showed up, so maybe there's something else at play. And by that, I mean, is Nicholas Sapita, I don't know, does he have a fetish? Does he want to go into the girls' change room? Does he want to shower with 13-year-old girls?
That's what it looks like to me. My camerawoman rather, Avery, spotted him going into the female change room, and nobody here, none of the officials, is stopping him from doing so. Again, who cares what Rebel News or David Menzies has to say about transgender athletes? This is the world governing body saying this is offside. In any event, we hope to interview Nicholas Sapita. I think he was tipped off that we were here, and he entered the community center through a back entrance. Perhaps we can catch him going out. In the meantime, we're going to watch him swim. Just will you see the perverse visuals of a 50-year-old man lining up against 13 and 17-year-old girls.
This is creepy. I'm sorry, this is fucking creepy. Yeah, well, okay, no, what's the creepy part? Let's figure out what the creepy part is. Like, is it not the grown man swimming with little girls?
No, there's no expectation of privacy.
This is gross. If there wasn't a grown man swimming with little girls, no one would have a problem with it.
Who are you?
This is gross, and it's like, why are they fucking?
Okay, well, you have no
They're
authorization to
basically
take this out.
protecting a pedophile at
Are
this
you a
point.
security guard? No. Okay. Then have a nice day. Pardon me?
Facility operating statement.
Yeah, it's a public facility. There was a 50-year-old man competing against 13-year-olds and changing in the girls' shower. Are you going to do anything about that?
No, it's got nothing to do with me, David.
Why aren't you going to do anything about that?
You have to go outside, okay? You're going to go outside.
I don't think so. We're here to cover some perversity happening in this swimming pool.
It's got nothing to do with me, David.
Okay. Well, it has nothing to do with you. Why are you telling us to leave?
Because you can't take film in here.
We see. Look, there's people right there in the front row recording. Look at that woman in the corner.
I don't see anybody recording.
Okay. Okay, you know what? I'm tired of this. We're going to call the police. Because you have a 50-year-old man changing with 13-year-old girls. Do you think that's right?
That should be like
no comment.
No comment? You don't think that? What about you, sir? Do you think that's right?
This is fucking disgusting.
Yeah, no, it's about a 50-year-old man who might be a sexual pervert.
Yeah,
showering
he
with 13-year-old
is
girls.
actually was determined.
Folks, you saw
Yeah, I hope you called police on this fucking pervert who is swimming with little girls. Like, this would be a meme.
Gallery. Look, Avery, there's the
Like,
lady in the black
honestly, like, this
She's filming,
seems like
totally unmolested. But the real story is they are protecting what we think might be a sexual pervert, a 50-year-old man swimming
with 14-year-old girls who
and
isn't
apparently
a
changing
swimming
and
instructor.
showering with them too. You know what? They said they're calling the police on me. I'm calling the police on them.
Yeah.
Yes, hi there. I'm at the East Bayfield Community Center, and there is a 50-year-old male that has invaded the change room and showers of 13-year-old girls. He is on the swimming deck. That's right. He just had a swim in the pool. Well, there you go, folks. For a change, we called the police. And why did we call the police? Because we are seeing, as I said earlier, perversity in the pool. He has absolutely no right, according to the world governing body for swimming.
This is so gross. Like, anyone with common sense
Biological females, let alone
should be grossed out by seeing this. But no, are you all for trans rights? Is this far enough for you? Where your kids are not safe in pools? Public pools, you want to get them into sports. They're not safe. This is why, like, we need to stand up against this.
Video regulations. And essentially, it's not to publish unflattering shots, anything of a sexual nature. And of course, not to go into change rooms, bathrooms, and showers while filming. Isn't that interesting? They don't want a camera going
Yeah,
into
meanwhile, they
the
let a
shower
fucking 50-year-old
that a
pervert
13-year-old girl is in. But if
and
you're a 50-year-old male
compete.
with your wedding tackle still attached,
Stunning and
that's
brave,
equity,
stunning and brave, folks.
diversity, tolerance, and
Gross.
all the rest of that rubbish.
Like, what the
This is the
fuck?
crime
This
happening
is
here.
fucked up.
We just watched Nicholas Cepeda swim against 7 other competitors. And guess what, folks? This gender-bending grifter came in 6th place. That's right. Swimming teenage girls. He came in 6 out
Well
of 8.
done, lady.
What a loser. We finally have a
Well done,
definitive
ladies.
answer to
Well
where
done.
Nicholas Cepeda changes and showers.
Yeah,
It is
yeah.
in
Tuck
the
tail
girls'
and
dressing
run
room. I saw it
because
myself with my own eyes.
no,
He
you
didn't go
don't
into the
do
male dressing room.
this.
He didn't go into the family dressing room. Mr. Cepeda,
Yeah, you might want to get out of there
what is your
quick.
deal? Why are you swimming with 13-year-olds?
Yeah, this is a
Why are
good
you
question.
breaking World Aquatic
No,
rules?
this is a
Why are
good
you running?
question. Why do you feel you need to compete with
What are you-
teenage girls? Like,
Mr.
why?
Cepeda,
Why? I'm curious. Like, I think we should
Why
chase
won't
them
you answer
down
these
and wonder
questions?
why do you need to
why
compete
are you
against?
breaking World
And
Aquatic
also, I
rules?
think everyone at the pool.
You
Like,
transitioned after puberty,
why
did you
the
know?
hell are we letting
Mr. Cepeda,
this happen?
why are you a coward? Do you have a record of
Because he
sexual
knows he's
perversion?
fucked up.
Protect us from what? Where are you going?
Sorry, like, don't be a goof. I don't know.
Do you
Like,
think it's
don't
appropriate?
prey on little
A
girls.
50-year-old man competing
I love you too,
and changing
Chroma.
and showering with 13-year-old girls.
This is gross.
No. How does that nursery rhyme go, folks? See how they run? And that rat really went into an Olympic-style sprint. I wonder if he's running races against 13-year-old girls, too. This is an absolute joke that this individual is being allowed to compete against biological females that are a third of his age. And this is on Swim Canada.
You
This
know,
is on
I am
Swim
all
Ontario.
for open
And this is on
competition.
the
If this
very,
was an open
Trojans
competition
Swim Club as
match,
well,
just a
for
casual
being
match
accommodated
at a
in
swimming
such a
pool, no
fashion.
problem.
And
But this
we
was
are the bad guys
an
in this.
official
We have
match.
the community center employees.
This was
filling the
actually
place.
like,
It's been almost an
you
hour
know,
now.
you
They
train
still
all
haven't
year
arrived.
to get
I don't know if
into
we should stick
the
around. We
next
phoned the
round,
police too.
sort of
But I
deal.
guess they know where to reach us.
So a
In any
50-year-old
event,
man,
this
but he
is the
came in
latest in Transanity. We're not going to let this story go, folks. We're going to keep covering it.
yeah.
This is, as
I
we said
pull
earlier,
up some more of.
perversity in the pool.
I've pulled up some
For
more
Rebel
of Rebel
News,
News
I'm
with
David the
some of
Benzoid
these
Menzies.
unhinged individuals. Like, it's getting
Well, you know,
young.
folks, when it comes to Transanity out there, where's the mainstream media? They either think it's too much of a third rail issue or they actually agree in a biological male identifying as a teenage girl. It's sick. Please, we depend on you for support. Please go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com. And if you're able to, kindly make a donation.
Yeah, but I mean, this is like a growing trend in pools here where you throw on a dress. It doesn't matter if you have a beard or not, or as long as you just say you identify as a woman, you can go into the women's change room. And we used to kind of, you know, protect, like, and now it's like in our military, we have tampons. We don't have bullets, but we have tampons in the men's washrooms. So I think that's progression, folks. Yeah, we are on the right track, Canada. We are doing great. Probably not. And here's another example of,
Chrystia Freeland being put on the spot once again, this time being asked.
and
if
I
she
keep
can relate
drawing
with the
this
people who
one
have to
up. I
live
know
in
I
the
probably,
economy
but
she's
it is just
created.
the worst interview. Like,
now this is a great one on Twitter here from Anti-Taxer. She appearing on national TV once
she's just
again,
so
and
clueless.
this time being asked about. Well, let's
So
just let
clueless.
the video
Like,
roll.
all these people are so clueless.
Minister, I'm hoping today that we can have a conversation where we get some answers and hear from you personally about how this affordability crisis that we're living in is truly understood. I think Canadians have watched, they've listened to press conferences, they've seen the announcements, they watched as the grocery CEOs were paraded in and questioned. But my sense is that people are feeling that the Liberals don't get it, that they aren't feeling the tough choices that Canadians are making either to their budgets or in the grocery store.
They are.
What example, not an announcement, what example can you share that would illustrate that you understand the pain and the pinch that Canadians are feeling at the grocery store when they're doing budgets? How does it look in the Freeland household when we're in a cost of living crisis?
Well, I'll let her get to that answer, but previously she did answer the question what it does look like in the Freeland household, and that was this beautiful clip that
Mr.
came
Speaker,
up.
I feel so
not
bad.
even a
I
year
had to cancel
and
my
this is
Disney
her
Plus
giving up,
because
you
I
guessed
don't
it,
have
Disney
enough
Plus
money, but
for the sake
I sent
of
it
the
all
budget.
to Ukraine.
And I think
But
Canadian families are looking
see, Kyle?
really closely at all of their
Bad
expenses.
jokes.
I personally, as a mother and
I
wife,
personally,
look
as a
carefully at
mother,
my credit card
and
bill once
I
a month.
wanted to torture
And
my
last
kids
Sunday, I
and
said
get
to
them
the
bullied
kids,
at
"You're older
school.
now. You
So
don't want to watch Disney
I
anymore.
set the
Let's
stupid
cut
tweet
that
and
Disney
made the
Plus
stupid press
subscription."
conference
So we
just
cut
to
it.
shame
It's only
them.
$13.99
I feel
a month
bad
that we're
for
saving.
kids. I really
But
do.
every little bit helps, and I think
Oh, every
every
little,
mother in
like,
Canada is doing that.
she makes 6 figures.
$13.99.
Possibly
This is a person
4,
who gets
so
all of the meals
it's
paid
not
for,
like she
travel
really needs the
expenses,
money.
all of that. Ginormous salary that she votes
Oh
for.
no!
Raised
Like
on
I think
every
Ms.
April 1st. That's right. They get a new raise every April 1st. And this also happens
Grandpa's
to
little
be
girl,
a woman who wrote this book.
Yeah.
Plutocrats, the rise of the new global super rich and the fall of everyone else. Guess which camp she's in. Do you think she's in the everyone else camp? No. Well, here's her profile over the World Economic Forum, and you can find out which camp she's actually in. And you can see here that she is a member of the forum's board of trustees. If that's not true anymore, at least that's what it says on their website as of today. But yeah, I think this book that she wrote all this that time ago, I think it was a cheering on of the global super rich, not so much of a condemnation of it. But here we are, and here's Chrystia Freeland giving another, well, I mean, you guess, you can answer in the comments down below what you think of her response to today's question.
Well, Henry, I think the thing like in my regular life,
she's just racking her brain to try
I
to
really
find
like
something that
math,
sounds
and I
relatable
just
to the
don't know
average
what I'm
person.
saying.
She's so
And
far removed
at least I
and
wore a
so
different
far
dress
out of
today.
touch with
Although I did like
Canadians
my red
that-
one.
Look how long she's stalling for this.
The challenge home the most personally to me
It's so challenging
is
to
that my
thank
church,
Mr.
which is around the
Speaker.
corner from my
Oh,
house,
wait,
just
I'm not
up
in the
street from
house.
us here, the Church of the
She's just
Messiah,
the
has
worst.
a food bank
The
every
worst.
Wednesday. And the lines have been getting longer. And that is heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that we have food banks in Canada, and it's really heartbreaking to see that people really need them. So
I am grateful to the really amazing people at the Church of the Messiah who have worked so hard to have a food bank and to support our community. And it kills me that that's something that they need to do, that we need to do. Yeah, a national report was released recently that the numbers are up at record numbers. There's people who are employed who are using it to buy things like milk and eggs because it's just expensive.
So her answer for how does
Just
the
to
Freeland
put it into
household look like
context.
because of the economy that they've actually given us. Well, her answer is, well, we sit there with our mouths full from, the taxpayers pay for our food, and we sit there and watch the lineup at the church in record numbers as people are going to the food bank. Well, it turns out, does she even go to that church?
No, she doesn't.
This
is like
Nia.
icing on the cake. Icing on the
put
cake
this
for
on
this
Twitter.
one. Like the
Showcasing
lies just keep
Does she even go there?
piling on. No, she
brings
doesn't.
The challenge home the most personally to me is that my church, which is around the corner from my house, just up the street from us here, the Church of the
I'm
Messiah.
confused too, but it's confusing here.
I'm gonna have to silence that because that will take.
Yeah,
the video
so
down. But
those are
yeah,
like
Freeland was
Anglicans.
raised
Meanwhile, she's
Catholic, and that's
still
a
very
Protestant
Catholic.
church. We liberals have a rude awakening. Always,
And, or she
Freeland
pulls out
says
the
she
Jewish
belongs to a
card every
Catholic
so often,
church.
even
How
though
would
we
she
all
be
know
going to
how that one
Protestant
goes with her
church
family.
That if you don't
Not
know
to
history,
shame her,
if
but
you don't know your
I
history,
mean,
yeah, the Protestants and Catholics don't really.
yeah, we're not on the
Yeah, maybe
same.
times have
We're
changed.
very
But this
close.
is
The
the
high
economy that they've left us
church,
here in Canada.
high
And this is how
Anglicans
disconnected
are
they
very
are in the
close,
Liberal
but
Party, in the government in general. I
it's
mean,
not
look
the
at Jeffrey
same.
He talks about why don't we just make cheaper houses? Yeah, okay, that's how we're gonna get out of this. Well, it turns out they're trying to make cheaper houses, and they're gonna tap into old war efforts.
We are
World
going to
War II era
actually
housing program.
pause.
But is it going to work?
This is not going to work. Nothing Trudeau proposes is going to work. Let's just be honest about it.
Era housing program, but it's not the 1940s, and it's not gonna work.
It's not going to
The
work.
federal government recently announced this,
And the
new,
houses in the 40s didn't
program
work.
that they want to put out there. And of course,
if you have had a house in Nanaimo in the middle of winter from the 40s, like that wartime,
and this is what they
that
have
didn't
to
work.
offer us here in
They're
Canada.
cold as
And
fuck.
even the federal government, all they can offer to people are tents.
Woo! We got
Ottawa.
tents.
They're giving out people.
Don't tell Victoria. Those are so nice tents. Like, maybe we can ship them there.
To live in. This is housing.
Ooh, they got
The
nicer
federal government
tents. You could get out of
Canada, but this is
downtown.
largely to do with
Quit
the
smoking
sheer
drugs on the
number
street
of
here.
people
Oh wait,
that
they
we
don't
just
have
keep on
legal
bringing into
drugs
this
there,
country.
so
We can't fix a housing crisis when we keep introducing
and it's
more
warm
people
here.
to
They
the country. As 430,000 new people came in a 3-month period from July until October. That is just insane when you look at how little housing we actually have. Now, experts are saying that this new effort is just not going to work. Canada's first architectural catalogs to help build homes for veterans
So
during
it's just not going to
returning
work.
from the Second World War. The designs that had that time primarily focused on the detached single-family homes in suburban settings.
and we
which
have
were
had so
dubbed
many
Victory and Strawberry
innovations
box
in
houses.
architecture
Numerous
and building
blueprints
materials
emerged
since the
over time and were
1940s.
used by the
Like,
federal government to
we
build
are
around
almost talking about
1 million
100
homes
years
from
ago now, folks. Like,
1940s through the 1960s.
it's like we
Not
don't
300,
really need
460,000 in a
asbestos
couple of months.
anymore.
That's crazy. Now, there's a big problem. Experts say that the design catalog doesn't actually work in this context. Basically, they want to
It
build
doesn't.
city ghettos. That's essentially what they're trying to do. They
Welcome
wanna
to
build
Mother
these
Russia. I mean
giant
Canada. It's like
multiplexes,
welcome to
and that's what they wanna
communism, folks.
introduce.
Like,
And
you're
well,
gonna love it. You own
it's not gonna
nothing,
pan out
and
because of what
the
the
government
experts are
gives you
saying
everything,
about
but
this, but this is
you
where
don't
we
have a
sit
lot. But
in Canada.
you have something.
This is why largely the Liberals are losing popularity. Now, people want an election now. People are hoping for that. We have this petition, and
and the
I'm not even sure
petition
where
is
it's at.
done.
Oh, we're at 300.
Thank you for everyone who
871
signed.
signatures on the petition.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much for everyone who signed.
Go to an election so we can go to the polls and we can reflect the way things have been going. People are tired of the Liberals running the economy.
Okay,
micromanaging
apparently
our
Google Santa is at Stockholm,
to do
but
things
North
on their own
Santa
fruition.
is
People want to build businesses. People want to build
Liberia.
their own homes, and there's a whole lot of
Moreover.
gatekeeping going on. A lot of red tape, a lot of permitting.
So-
you have to even build a home. I think the average permits on a new home build
And
is
Crumpets is somewhere in the
$70,000
middle.
Canadian. That's just for permission. 70 grand.
Naughty or
just to
nice,
say
someone's
thank
coming
you,
and been
I'm
watching
allowed
all
to do
year.
it now. But this is where we're at in Canada. But this is, again, why the Liberals, the NDP, this coalition is largely more unpopular. Global News reporting. Most voters say Trudeau should resign and expect an election in 2024. 4, and of course, this has got them pretty sad about it. RPN
I
putting
love
out
this
there.
clip. This was so
Amazing. Keep up the great
hilarious.
work. Man, keep up the great work. But yeah,
This
leave a comment
one
in the comment
was
section
so
down below. Let me know what you
hilarious.
think about this whole concept of
It was a good one. I think I pulled it up on my
elites
blog.
ruling down on us. And,
If not, it's on my X.
From where Canadians actually are at this moment. This seems a bit like a Marie Antoinette type moment for Canada. This is what led to the French Revolution. Obviously, we all know a lot of heads rolled over that experiment. But right now, we're looking at a situation where they're so utterly disconnected from what's actually
they're
happening in
just,
the common
they
lives
don't even
of
care.
Canadians.
Like,
People are fleeing the country.
I
in
hope
droves
everyone
as
is
they're
having
bringing
a
the
good
third world
Christmas. However you're
Let me know in the
choosing
comment on the
to
comments
celebrate
what you
it or
think.
not
We'll see you in the next one.
celebrate it, or
One
you celebrate Hanukkah or Kwanzaa. I don't care. Yeah. Let's have a text. I am just going to I'm going to let this one play for a little bit. Actually, I'm going to have to shut this one down. I will be back in a minute for part 2. Family calls.